Good morning, Tradeify Nation, and welcome to another edition of Tradeify TV. It is Wednesday, June 4th, 2025. It is, well, just slightly under 60 minutes to the New York Open, which means it's time for us to get ready for your trading day. Guys, we have an outstanding show for you today. We have a very special and outstanding guest that I could not be more excited to talk trading with and to talk Tradeify with. We've got giveaways today. We're going to get to those later. But first, I got to introduce my fellow hosts who are just outstanding people, outstanding traders, and Mr. White T himself. We're gonna start it off with him. Wow, Nick, you look different today.
I just thought the same.
Yeah, you grew your hair out, Nick. That's very, very impressive. That's wow. I don't know where to go with that. So
somebody in the chat,
real Nick. How are you doing this morning?
Somebody in the chat already said Miriam looks beautiful today. I mean, thank you guys.
Aw, thanks, guys.
I don't know what happened here. We're gonna just switch names shortly. Well, we can leave it that way too. But
this is fine.
Anyway,
I can be Nick.
Somebody's already complaining about background Nick, but it's actually not background Nick's fault. Background Nick is running a half marathon right now, so don't worry about him.
Yeah, background Nick is making us all look like just complete chumps to start the day today. He's like, I'm gonna be a little late, guys. I'm running a half marathon before the stream, and he's not from Europe. He's from the Midwest like I am, so it's like I feel so fat and lazy right now that it's just it is what it is. I'll just sit here and trade then. But
man, dude, for me, I mean, as usual, I just had my matcha, I went on my hooker walk, and have an amazing day so far. It's 5:30 in the morning or something. No, all kidding aside, I'm doing great. Good morning, guys. Happy to be here again, as usual. And of course, also good morning to Matcha Mommy and now Nick.
Yeah. Well, I didn't top tick anything today yet, but I do have my matcha and I am ready to rock with everyone. Good morning, everyone. My name is actually Miriam. It's not Nick, but you know what? We can play with it today, okay? So, we're happy you guys are here with us today. It is actually 5:30 in the morning here on the West Coast. So if you guys are rocking with me on the West Coast, you know that it's time to get started. So, market's been a little interesting in the pre-market today. We're talking about this in the back because we're like, some days we don't really do much in the pre-market, and it's kind of fun because we can actually get a trade in, and now we got this massive move to the downside and we're trying to recover part of it, but we're kind of in for an interesting day, I think. So Matt, why don't you kind of walk us through what we're looking at?
Yeah, so before we get into the 4-hour chart, we're going to do our normal 4-hour rundown here momentarily, but we do want to just talk about the news, which broke just about 20-ish minutes ago, a little over 20 minutes ago. So ADP employment report. And guys, this was I've seen this before. I mean, you've been trading long enough, you've seen everything that's there, but I do feel like we do need to at least talk a little bit about what this is. If this pulls up for me, there we go. So ADP employment changes. The ADP National Employment Report measures levels of non-farm private employment. So I'm somebody feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on this in the chat. But so basically, I think this is kind of a preview of the non-farm payrolls coming tomorrow, but it only focuses on the private sector. I believe non-farm includes public sector jobs, state, federal, et cetera, et cetera. So this is not compiled necessarily by a government research institute. So you want to say it's more accurate, less accurate because of that? I don't know. That's your business. But the market did not like it. And that followed very quickly with a tweet or whatever of President Trump attacking Chairman Powell and telling him it's time to lower rates. We have said, guys, since we started this show, and those of you that have followed me on socials and other places for the last few months, I've been saying there is going to be a showdown in 2025 between Trump and Powell. Trump is going to try or successfully fire Jerome Powell. What happens to that? Well, it seems like, at least, and how much can you trust the analysts, right? But it seems like analysts both on the right and the left say that would be catastrophic for the markets. Now, for us as day traders, we love catastrophic for the markets because there's plenty of opportunity to make money there. But if we go into our 4-hour charts here on the NQ, the pullback was pretty dramatic on the 5-minute chart, a little less so on the 4-hour chart. Yesterday, we officially broke out and held above this 21,550 level. So we'll potentially look for a retracement here if we get bearish market action after the 9:30 Eastern Open. The ES guys, this is key, and there's, for those of you that follow the indexes, there's different times we want to be looking at different indexes as they come into key areas. We've talked extensively about the ES and how big 6,000 is, and we pretty much banged our head off that again. So when is our next run at it? Is it today? Is it tomorrow? Is it 6 months from now? We don't know. Gold continues to be in kind of a breakout mentality, although we've pulled back a little bit. 3360 to me is kind of a key area, a key line in the sand. If we break below that, I would look for a move back to this trend line. And oil, we're going to talk a little bit about oil with our guest Gandalf. He's going to be with us very shortly, guys. But oil still looking, I would still say I would definitely say I have a bullish mentality on oil. But we do have an engulfing candle forming on the 4 hours. So we'll talk oil with Gandalf the Wizard when he pops on in a little bit. But guys, and of course the Russell declining as well. So team, it's the index is reacting pretty negatively to this ADP employment report. But again, we're still, about 45 minutes, a little over 45 minutes from the New York Open. Boy, feels like, guys, this could be another one. I'm going to say this and jinx it, but another one of those opens that just decides to go.
Don't say it, Matt. Don't say it. You know what that does to the market. Oh, man. Oh, man. But yeah, if we look at the shorter time frames here, Matt, because I have to do it, I actually have a little range here since yesterday at 1 p.m. And we can see, actually, what am I saying, 1 p.m.? It actually was 1 p.m. All right, there we go. I was looking at the 50-minute chart and already got overwhelmed because I'll usually look at the 1 minute, Matt. I know you get overwhelmed there. But we're trading between 21,750 and 21,650-ish, right? That is the current range we're sitting at. And I wonder, Mariam, because I know, because you're Baron say you already took a short here. What are you looking for today?
Yeah, so I did actually take this short in the pre-market. So the one thing that I was looking at, though, is when you go to my charts here, this is the 15-minute on the NASDAQ. This trend line that you see here is actually a 1 hour trend line. So what I would be looking for is if we can actually break this 36-35 area on the NASDAQ. You can see here it was prior resistance and then it became support. So now I would want to see on the 15-minute if we can actually break this level, because we do have a lot of room to the downside, guys. We had this really nice move to the upside yesterday. So we do have basically all of yesterday's move to take out. So what I would be looking for is a potential move, if we break this level, a potential move all the way back down to the 500, 510 area. If we can break that, then we have this second trend line here, breaking 478. Now we have the second trend line sitting at, depending on where we're at for the day, I would be looking for this trend line to break, because then the next level would be the 400 level. The 400 and then the 300 level, pretty much every 100 level on the NASDAQ would be a level that I would be looking at for potential moves to the downside. So that is the 15-minute. And of course, you guys, I actually trade on the 5-minute here. So we are getting some resistance at the 700 level thus far. Now, this level right here that we're currently sitting at was pre-market low before we got the news, and we obviously broke out of it, but we are holding this trend line for now, right? So we do want to see if we can actually, and I'm actually looking at my book maps right now because we're getting some action here, but I want to see if we can actually break this trend line, because again, we got a lot of room to the downside, guys. So you guys know, obviously, I'm a trend line breakout trader, I guess you can call it. So this is something appealing to me. Now, I don't have any of my indicators on here, but if you put on VWAP is a very clear resistance that we are having thus far. Now, for the upside, of course, the upside is still something that can be in play. I would be looking for this. You don't need to be a technical analysis to see this line right here at 764. Now, this is, pretty much yesterday's high, and then we also had it for the pre-market high as well. So I would be looking for this area to break for further upside. And the next level I would see is about the 800, 810 area. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for, guys.
Nice, very nice. And guys, if you're in the stream right now, if you're watching, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can actually be active in the chat, because in about 15 minutes, we're going to bring on Gandalf, the COO of Tradeify, and it's going to be very, very valuable. Also, we are going to have a giveaway today. We're going to give away 3 accounts, 150K growth, 150K advanced, and 150K straight to funded. So make sure you're liking the stream, because if you give us more likes, we give you more giveaways as usual.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Gandalf today. You know, I didn't know they had really good Wi-Fi in the Shire, but apparently they do. So maybe we'll see if Sam or Frodo pops up on the stream with Gandalf. I'd be really excited for that. Obviously he's got control of the One Ring, because that's how he's just killing the markets on a day-to-day basis. But I'm very curious to discuss that with him when he pops back in. So yeah, we are about 15 minutes away from being joined by the COO here at Tradeify. We're going to talk trading with him. We're going to talk Tradeify with him, and how in just barely a year, Tradeify has taken its place among us, one of the best prop firms in the entire space. And I'm not just saying that because they pay me, but it really is a really great team behind the scenes. By the way, shout out to Drew in the background, who's already fixed everything. Guys, I can tell you this. Many years ago, I ran a small show just for a brokerage that I worked for on Postmark, and I had to do everything on it. It was just me, but I had like 4 scenes set up in my streaming broadcast, and I still stumbled over things on like a day-to-day basis. Drew's got like 400 scenes in the background. He's like bouncing signals off of Starlink and wrapping them around Mars and the moon and coming back and setting everything up. And somehow we've had, nameplates in the wrong places is a minor problem. We've had like, I'm going to knock on wood here, but very like no major issues so far. And so a huge shout out to our background team and background Nick, who's already run a half marathon. Are you out of your fucking mind, Nick?
He's insane.
What's wrong with you? It's go. You know, you're 20 something. Get out of bed a little late. Show up to work barely on time, and then I don't know where I was going with that. But, damn it, Matt, you jinxed. Yeah, I did, guys. But we've got a packed show for you today, and I'm really looking forward to it. So guys, we're last 20 minutes. We're sort of in a little bit of a chop here on the NQ. So we had the big decline on the ADP employment report, came all the way down close to 655, and now we're back up at about the 700 level. So we're sort of oscillating between 680 and 700. So let's see where we begin to break out, as we are now just under 45 minutes from the New York Open.
Awesome. Yeah, I want to know too, what are you guys thinking for the day? I know we kind of like to get your input on what your outlook is looking like. Are you bearish? Are you bullish? I believe we have a poll that we're going to throw up in a bit here. But how are you guys feeling for today? I know yesterday's move. I'm not going to lie, guys. I was not anticipating this move to the upside. We didn't have any sort of catalysts or any sort of news coming out that really, in my opinion, made sense for us to push this high. But what are you guys feeling like today? Do you think we're going to sustain this breakout? Do you think we're going to make a push above 800? That's kind of what I'm looking for. If we get an upside move, would be that 810 level. But I'm kind of, like I said, I've been saying this all throughout the streams this week. At least I really want this downside, and I do like the trend lines. So if we get that break, it's a strong trend line. So if we get the break, we'll get a flush. I would hope, or I assume. So
yeah, I was saying it yesterday. Like, the closer we get to NFP, right, the higher the chance for consolidation. When somebody said it's NFP tomorrow, they said that yesterday. I said no, or we corrected him and said it's on Friday. And I said we might get a big move yesterday, which we did. I wasn't expecting it, to be honest, same as you, Mariam. But for today, the way the charts currently look, if I look at my 50-minute chart here right now, if we don't get a strong breakout, it could very well be that either to the upside or the downside, we just go up and go right back into the range. So I'm expecting barcode, but let's see. I'm interested to see what the chat says once we have that poll up.
Absolutely. So we have ISM Services PMI 30 minutes after the open today. The PMI numbers, what was that on? Was that Monday or Tuesday? Didn't have a huge effect on the market, so we'll see how ISM does as well. And then we're pretty much just in a holding pattern, waiting for major news outside of Fed speakers until non-farm payrolls, which will happen while we're on stream, or right as we're coming on stream on Friday. So we'll look forward to that. But yeah, it's looking like an exciting day, guys. I'm not building a bias yet. I don't generally trade before the 8:30 open, 8:30 Central open. And so I'm just going to kind of wait here. We're banging our head on VWAP a little bit. The 700 to 710 level is a very important area on this chart. So we've now taken a couple of different runs at it in the last half hour. And so far, we can't crack that area. So we'll see as we move into the open. But my goodness, guys, this is... we come on, we're talking a few minutes behind the scenes, getting the show laid out, et cetera, but there are days where honestly, guys, we're just trying to go over the charts, get you ready for the day. And then there's days like today where anything we had planned or talked about just goes to shit in the first 5 minutes of the show because the markets react. But you know what? This is a positive thing because I don't think, again, knock on wood, it's going to be a boring day once New York opens. I think it's going to be a little chaotic. This is a day, guys, to control your position size. Do not overtrade. And overtrading has two aspects to it, both position size and number of trades. So be very, very careful as you're loading up. All right, guys, so we're under 10 minutes now from bringing on Gandalf. So what are Miriam, what are you looking at here as we get ready for the open?
I actually love that we are staying in this range. You mentioned the 700, 710 level. I do see those orders also on Bookmaps. And of course, I don't know if anyone doesn't know what Bookmaps is. It's basically an order flow of heat map. And so it's an application that I use to see where the orders are. And of course, some of these, obviously this is not used for to create an edge or anything like that. I use it primarily just to look and see where the orders are sitting. And currently the orders are sitting in the 707 up to 710. So those areas are going to be areas that I look for a breakout and hopefully a sustain above if we are looking to be bullish today. Any areas to the downside right now, what I'm seeing on my Bookmaps chart at least is going to be that 650 area. So if you look at the charts, obviously that 650, 656 area is kind of where we came down to and halted. So we haven't been able to actually break. Now the level, like I said, is going to be that 36 level on NASDAQ that I want us to break, and it does fit in confluence with the trend line here. So as long as we find resistance at this 710, 700 area, I am going to be bearish going into this, because if we can't break above this and take back this news candle that we got, then I'm not really convinced that bulls have it in them today. Now, of course, anything can and will happen in the market, as I've already been told and seen it, throughout my years of trading. But I'm really looking for a potential break of this trend line. Now, for me, I'm not going to enter right at the break because we do still have some areas that we could potentially hold at. And like I said, it's going to be this 37 area for me if we get a move to the downside. That I would be looking for to enter a short, because like I said, if we get this move down, we do potentially have room to yesterday's low, which is sitting at this 500, 510 area. So that would be my highest probability setup for today. Now, if we do get the break to the upside, like I said, 767 is going to be that break to the upside that I would be looking for to get long. I don't want to see us, just try to top it and then we put a tail in and we just can't break out of it. That's something I don't want to see. And I do actually see some orders at 775 on Bookmaps. So what I don't want to see is we put in, a tail like this. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but I don't want to see a tail like this and then we just shoot back down and we can't sustain this move. So I will be holding off on any upside move until I can finally see some confluence that gets us all the way back up here. This is the area that I would be looking for to actually target. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I know, Nick, you like to take more of the bull flags, bear flags. Are any of these levels that I spoke about, do they fit your trading thesis for today at all?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, for me, I want to see a clear break, and that, like, literally of these levels that you just mentioned, but then wait for a consolidation and then a breakout out of that consolidation, which is referred to as a bull flag or bear flag, right? So yeah, I'm looking pretty much at the same thing, but as long as we're in between the two areas that I marked out here on the charts, like the 21,750 and the 21,650-ish area, and we're consolidating in between those two, I'm not really looking forward to getting into a position. So I really want to see those break first before I do anything today.
Yeah, so where we are on the 5 minute right here, I really like where we're at, because I think it gives us some room in either direction as we move towards the open. Again, we're really kind of tightly packed in between the 700 level and VWAP here, but I think I think if we break above VWAP, we could get to +1 standard deviation pretty quickly. If we roll, I think we get back to the open, or at least down probably to testing low a day or low a session as we move into the open. So again, guys, I just freaking love the fact that we had this big move, because I think it sets up very well for movement for the rest of the day. But yeah, guys, we are 5 minutes away from being joined by our CEO here at Tradeify, Gandalf. He's slaying the Balrog as we speak. He will be with us once he puts on his white robe. So I'm trying
to just mention something real quick, because I actually love what I'm seeing in the polls today. I think this is the first time we've actually gotten a oh, wait, no, I read that wrong. Sorry. But I will say it is neck and neck. It is neck and neck. Most of the time we do get a much larger sentiment of bullish sentiment. So I read that wrong. I thought it said bearish. I got a little too excited, guys.
Yeah.
You know, it is neck and neck, though. It does feel a little bit closer to that bearish side. I think usually it's like 57 or 60% bullish. But we are getting a little bears in here today, it sounds like. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I would be all in for it, Miriam. You know that. We too. We would short the shit out of that market.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Matt is waiting for a bullish setup.
I'm taking short setups here today. I'm not a perma bull. I'll take what's on the table. I just need to.
I know. You're flexible. You're flexible. We know. It's fine. I actually see the chat. I see a lot of people asking when is Gandalf coming on in 3 minutes, and when are we doing giveaways? Well, throughout the entire stream. So make sure that you stay on the stream and that you stay tuned for those, because we have some pretty sweet stuff to give away as usual. Matt, currently for you, I know that. Well, I'm not sure. Is that? Oh, it's actually Matt's screen right now on. So what are you looking at in terms of movement before market open? Are you looking to take any trades before we open, or are you just waiting?
Probably. I'm not ruling that out. I'm going to wait through the top of the hour. But right now I'm watching VWAP. Right, the VWAP is holding right now, and you know, when you have a big move like we had, obviously VWAP is not respected. But now that there's two parts to any move. There's the move itself, and then there's the reaction to the move. So the move down was a very, very big move. The reaction right now is that, at least where we stand on the charts, is that initial move is slightly overdone. But so we've retraced about half of it. If I drew the fib up here, we'd probably be close to 50% retracement, maybe a little bit below it. But now VWAP is coming into play, right? So VWAP is acting, at least as I sit here right now, as some short-term resistance. So it looks like we want to at least test above it, but we're going to need to get back up to 720 to 730 for me to kind of resume a little bit of a long bearish or long/bullish stance into the open. But honestly, with an unexpected move like that on a piece of data that's not normally a big market mover, if you caught some of the initial move, that's great. But once that initial move is over, it's time to let the markets establish kind of where the follow-up move is going to be. So where is it going to be a full reversal, or are we going to continue do some continuation? As it stands right now, if I'm betting one way or the other, high a day or low a day, I would say low a day. But again, and especially, we have already a Trump statement out today. These come in bunches, and we know how he gets very fixated on a particular person or thing, and it's Jerome Powell right now, which is, again, we don't care if he fires Powell and the markets crash 25%, whatever. As day traders, we're just trying to get a move. So if he does that, that's fine. But just be aware, any statements that he makes on Powell today, and I know he hasn't had a public schedule for several days now. So if he's back in the Oval today, or if there's any sort of press availability, we have to keep an eye on that. So we are near the top of the hour here, guys. I think it's about time that we welcome in our guest. What do y'all think? Can we get Gandalf in the chat, please?
Give it up. Give it up, guys.
Get some Gandalf in the chat. So he's actually hyped up. Make sure to like the stream, because I heard he's not going to pop up here if we don't have at least, where are we sitting at? Oh, God. We're sitting at 148. I think he needs 200 to pop up. Can we get some likes, please? Thank you.
Guys.
Maybe he's going to pop in earlier, though, anyways.
Gandalf is in the building. He's ready for you guys. He's ready. He wants to talk to you guys about so much, about Tradeify, about his trades. We're going to ask him some secret questions that we haven't. No, I'm just kidding. I already saw his face in the background. He's like, what?
I asked him if he's going to break down his oil trade. But anyways, here he is already on the screen. Welcome. He's still labeled as Coach Tankier, but that's going to change in a second with his magic power.
I'm not that good looking.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon from London. Really happy to be here with the Tradeify community. It's my first time on a live stream.
So, really give it up, guys.
I think Brett was kind of hoping I'd turn up in a Gandalf outfit, but
surprised he didn't send you one.
How are we doing today? This morning, Matt, Marion, Nick, how are we doing?
Outstanding, man. I'm really eager to dig into kind of Tradeify as a company, kind of, the origins. You guys, it's been barely a year. And across the board, you guys are considered, or I guess us, so we're part of this as well, considered one of the top prop firms in the entire space. How in the hell do you do that in just a year?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy ride, honestly. I sometimes have a look at where we are today and just look back at what we've done to get here, like over the last year. But maybe just to just step back a minute, just a quick intro to myself, because I know people have they've been following. Some of you may have been following me on X and see me on Discord. Know me as Gandalf, but my real name is Vinan. I think within internal to Tradeify, I'm known as Vinny. So that's who I am. So I'm one of the co-founders of Tradeify. Built the company with Brett. We've been working on this for quite a few years now. As Matt said, we launched about a year ago. Just a little bit maybe about what I do. I kind of work with our kind of data science team. So I work on plan development, manage our support teams, manage our risk and live teams. So I think maybe going back to your question, Matt, what's been how have we grown so quickly? I think there's a couple of aspects. I think one, Brett's a brilliant marketer. He's we built a fantastic brand. I think with Tradeify, we had a look at what the market needed at the time when we launched, and there were we looked at other companies in the space that were it was difficult to get payouts. There was denials, and we came in and we made our plans extremely clear. We had a set path to live accounts. We lightning fast payouts, lightning fast support, and I think when you have a program that is friendly to the trader, traders are going to come flocking to the company. I think we've seen that. We've pretty much grown month on month since we started. So every month, so we just closed up May, we grew, I think 8% over what we did in April. And it's been like that since day one. So, I mean, I think it's validation on kind of what we built, really. It's been great.
Yeah, so I want to ask it because sort of my basic intro to the prop firm world is with other companies, meeting people through LinkedIn, through whatever, and I didn't necessarily come into like knowing the prop firm companies, needing to trade with them. I've had a personal account for many years, and I do use some prop accounts to test out new strategies, et cetera, et cetera. But I've noticed in a industry which seems to thrive on a lot of controversy and negativity, you guys have kind of stayed above the fray of a lot of that. And is this just kind of just keep your nose to the grindstone and ignore all the bullshit, or is there some sort of secret recipe there?
Yeah, I think there is a couple of secret, I guess, ingredients to what makes Tradeify tick, I guess. I mean, so I mentioned it earlier. I kind of work with our data science team. So I don't know if you guys have ever considered what goes behind the scenes with a prop, but props are really a data science company, right? And it's really the data that drives a lot of the decision making that we make at Tradeify. It tunes our plans. What level of payouts do we give out to people? When do we take people live? All of that decision making is done through data. And I think when we started this a year ago, we invested heavily in making sure we could use our data to support our decisions. And I think that has been, one of the secrets to our success. I think the other is, when we started the business, we had to look at, what others were doing out there in terms of live. So, if you think back to a year ago, some of the biggest prop firms essentially were sim-funded firms only, right? You would pass an evaluation, you'd get a sim-funded account, and then that would be it. And then you would trade that account until at some point in time you've made too much money, and the firm decided that they would either ban you or they would move you live, right? So if you look at one of the biggest firms out there, live is really a stop loss to the firm, right? Once you go live, they start putting DLL on you. They give you a lot of restrictions, reduce their contracts. So when we started, we wanted to make sure we had a sustainable model, and we wanted to change the way the industry thought about live accounts. So I think our path to live is something that we brought into the industry about a year ago. So if you look at our plans right now, you buy an evaluation or you buy a straight to funded account, we give you a set path, a set of goals to achieve. And once you've achieved those goals, you can get paid on when you hit those goals. But once you've hit 4 goals, so 4 payouts, we'll move you into a live account. And I think that's something unique that we brought into the market, and we weren't shy about saying sim funded is sim, right? It's simulated money. We can't keep paying you out with sim funds forever. Once we found you as a great trader, someone that we want to back, we want to put you into a live account straight away and start to share your talents between us. So I think that was unique, and actually you're seeing now a lot of the other firms in the industry kind of follow our lead. We've got lots of new firms coming up there, taking our kind of path to live. I think you've seen TopStep. They've changed their model. It used to be, you take 150K in payouts, then they'll kind of stop loss you and move you live. But now they've kind of moved to 5 payouts live, which has kind of followed what we've done. And I think you're going to see that with a couple of other kind of more traditional firms as well. So I think our use of data, and I think our focus on live accounts has probably been our two secrets to success, I'd say, in Tradeify.
So one last question to follow up on the live accounts. I see you go on social media, you go all this, where people will say, well, I don't want that. Why is it important for a trader, especially a consistently profitable trader, to be in a live account with Tradeify?
Yeah, we thought, again, this is something we thought long and hard about. So we've had our live program for about 6 months. It took a couple of months to actually set everything up. Our main partner, we're having some staffing issues, so we didn't get our live program started until January, February, I think, right? But again, we built a kind of unique plan. We wanted to make sure live was attractive, so that once you hit those 4 payouts, you're not begging to stay in sim, right? We want you to actually value that live account and want to trade it. So yeah, we kind of came up with a unique, I'd say, program. So once you get those 4 live accounts, we don't move all of your sim funds into live. We'll take a percentage of what you've made in each account. We give you a payout on day 1 of getting your live account. So say we transfer 40K from what you've earned in sim funded, we'll give you half of that. So we'll pay you out on day 1, 20K, and then the other 20K we will give you two live accounts with 10K each. So once you've started those live accounts, you've already had a pretty significant payout. So one of the issues we're seeing with other firms, when you move live, the first thing you think about is, how do I get all these funds out of this live account, right? But with us, you've already had that day one payout. You've had that payout. You can get straight into trading those live accounts, right? That's something unique we did. And 10K in 2 accounts, that's some significant leverage. You've got a lot of drawdown there. Everyone starts off with certain risk parameters, so 5 accounts. We give you a DLL. But really, I think another thing that we've done that's unique is we kind of tailor the risk settings to each trader. So you get a risk manager that will talk to you. We give you a coach. So Coach Tang came on yesterday, who's awesome. He's already started to make a difference, kind of learning about your trading style, learning about your psychology. And then we tune the risk settings to make you successful. And we got a couple of really good examples of that already, actually. So there's a very famous. We got a live trader that's very famous on YouTube. You may know him as Patrick Whelan, PW, and he did fantastic in our sim funded accounts. And then we wanted to move him live. And Patrick's an explosive trader. He's takes very aggressive trades, and that served him really well in sim. But with a live account, that's fine if you take aggressive trades when you can reset, or you can always go back and get that sim funded account again by spending $100, right? But when you're in a live account, there's no resetting 20K, right? I mean, once the money's gone, it's gone, right? So, our risk team, we worked with Patrick. We talked to him about how best to leverage his trading style. He took a few early small losses, but we found the right mix of giving him a fairly aggressive DLL, but then we give him a profit target every day. Once you hit that, you're locked out for the day, right? And we tuned his contracts, and I think he's our top live trader now, and I think he's close to making 100K in live profits in less than a month. Nice. That's kind of we have to appreciate that a lot of traders that are trading with Tradeify are used to sim, and we want to kind of take out some of the bad practices that you may have gained trading sim accounts, because you can always reset kind of culture. You need to kind of take that out of you, and working with our coaches, working with our risk team, and we can turn sim traders into profitable live traders.
So I'm curious too, like how many live traders does Tradeify have currently?
We have, I think, coming up to 180 live traders.
Wow, that's impressive.
So in less than 6 months, I mean, we're adding at least a dozen live traders a day. We lose a few as well every week, but we have a lot of live accounts. We actually, I think this week just passed $1 million in live payouts as well.
Wow.
Which is, I mean, we
love to have a soundboard now to celebrate that.
Yeah, we need the celebration. We
could celebrate it differently. We could celebrate it with a little giveaway. What do you think?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do the first giveaway.
Nice.
Why not? Yeah.
All right. I actually just got word, chat. We can even give away a 150K advanced account. That's going to be the first one. And obviously, in honor of Gandalf, in honor of Vinny, we have to do something related to you. So here's what we're going to do, guys. And make sure to pay close attention, because if you do it wrong, you're not going to win. That's for sure. So first of all, make sure to like the stream right now. Okay. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and then type the keyword Gandalf into the chat, and you get automatically entered. You can only type it once. Do not type it multiple times. Type it once, and you automatically participate for a 150K advanced account. There we go. That's some celebration.
And there goes the chat.
Nice. All right, back to the question. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to interrupt, but that was too good.
I'm trying to get used to it. It's my first time live, so I've got like so many tabs open. I don't know how you guys manage this. Like looking at the chat, looking at... You have to give me your tips.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's why I already missed 3 trades actually while live. I was literally pointing these trades out, saying like, I'm gonna take this once it does this, and then it did it, and I was reading the chat and completely missed my entries. But that's how it goes. I think we all get used to it over time.
What are we thinking here? What trades are we thinking? Long, short?
Right now, waiting game. For me, at least. I don't know what Mary and Matt are thinking, but for me, it's a waiting game.
As long as we're hugging VWAP here, we've got to see where the next step is.
We want to know too. So Vinny, how long have you been trading for, and what specifically do you trade right now?
Yeah, so I've been trading since 2017, so about 8 years. I've traded pretty much everything, like options, crypto, forex, futures, stocks. If it's available to trade, I've pretty much tried and trade everything, right? Yeah, I think the first 3 years, I think, and I've been listening in every week on the streams, every day on the stream. So I think some of what I'm about to say is pretty common across what other guests have said as well. But first 3 years is really figuring out, I think, who you are as a trader. So I went through that process, and I think that was you're trying out different things to trade, right? And you try out by copying other people, following groups, and in the end you realize like trading is an individual game. You've got to tailor your style to yourself and your personality. So I'd say unsuccessfully traded options. So I think a lot of us started out in options, and it actually went well for a little while. So 2017, I don't know if anyone else was trading that year, but that was a fantastic year to trade long call options. It was, I mean, you could buy any stock, call, Amazon, Apple, anything. Just 2 weeks out, you buy a call, and you were 200% within a few days. It was up every day, right?
Oh yeah.
So I did well for a little while in 2017. Then towards the end of that year, if I remember, it started getting choppy. And then you start to realize this isn't actually that easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I did options. I went into option selling for a little while, and actually that was I had a very good spell selling options. So iron condors, butterflies, call spreads, and that was great. But I found it incredibly boring. So I did it for like 3-4 months, and I made some money. But it wasn't a lot, and you needed a lot of margin as well to trade that. And I just said, I can't do this anymore. And then I found my way into swing trading. So since about 2018, 19, I've pretty much been a swing trader. I did try futures. So I was a very early live trader for TopStep a long time ago, actually 6-7 years ago.
Wow.
I had a live account with TopStep for a while, but I've had the most success swing trading. And my kind of style is to look for either deep value or deep excess. So I try to look for stocks that have strong fundamentals, but may have been hit by something short term, right? So like a good example now, I can pull up some charts in a minute. Nike's a great example of a brand that I think will be around in 10 years. That will be a successful brand. It's been hit by some short term negativity, and it's a great chance to buy into that stock. So I look for real opportunities like that. I go in quite heavy, and I hold these stocks, or I try swing trade futures as well. So I hold these stocks or contracts for quite a long time, weeks, sometimes months. So that's been my start. It's been successful for quite a few years, but again, it took a while to figure that out, I would say.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you've kind of tried everything. It's funny when you said it was boring, because we always talk about how trading is technically supposed to be boring, right? But no, it's great.
There's nothing more boring than just getting in a trade and trying to watch the price slowly come down in value. Like there's nothing more boring than that. I mean, I would say out of everything I've traded, that is, in terms of probability of winning, that's probably the highest probability trades that you can make that will win, selling options, because of numerous factors, including theta. Everything's working in your favor, right? Even if the market doesn't go in the right direction you want it to go, you can still make money selling options. So yeah, I do recommend it as a strategy. It's just not for me, right?
Mm-hmm. Question on swing trades, Vinny, because obviously you typically need more capital for swing trades, right? Would you say it's a good idea to take payouts from like trading Tradeify account, for example, and then invest that into swings while still day trading the props?
Yeah, I think you do need some capital to swing trade. I mean, you can get some margin, right? A lot of brokers will give you 4-to-1 margin, so you can make a bit of alpha there with margin. I mean, you got to be careful, obviously, with that. But but yeah, I mean, if you're starting off and you're starting off with very little, I mean, you've got a chance with Tradeify to spend as little as $60. I think our cheapest account is, I think, with the current offer, less than $50. So with a $50 investment, you can start trading, learning how to day trade. There's lots of education out there. We're investing a lot in education actually as well, including this stream. And then you can start taking payouts, and those are pretty sizable payouts, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and you can start. I would always recommend using that capital to reinvest in yourself, and that could be to start your own live account, and I would recommend, especially if you're trying to build from zero. I would always recommend. I wouldn't go straight into, start trading, options or anything like that. I would start with, long-term plays to start to build your own personal wealth, right? I mean, I don't want to give any financial advice. I'm not an official financial planner, but yeah, I mean, look, I definitely use money that you make from props to reinvest in yourself. Get to that live account, and then you can, like I said, I explained it earlier, with our live accounts, you can make some serious capital. You get paid daily, and you can really start to scale up your trading from that.
Awesome. Well, speaking of accounts, I know we have our giveaway here that we want to do, and we do have a winner. This is of the 150K advanced account. So the giveaway winner for this first giveaway is AV. AV, if you are in the chat, please respond and let us know that you have actually, you're still in here, so we can give you the giveaway. Again, this is a 150K advanced account.
And we have
this
more
isn't it, guys.
coming,
We
guys.
still have a few more. We're dropping today.
More. Also, in the meantime,
we're breaking out a little bit here above VWAP, a little bounce off the +1 standard deviation. So we're 9 minutes before the open here, Vinny. What are you zeroing in on as we get ready for the New York Open?
I've just managed to find my chart. So, I just had a look. I was looking at this level actually. I'm looking at so with futures, I go against the grain. I don't really trade NASDAQ. I'm more of an ES trader, to be honest. So that maybe because of when I started, I didn't. I feel like the NASDAQ's become kind of a thing to trade over the last few years. But when I was trading, the S&P was what people traded. So that's still what I trade. I mean, usually they kind of operate in they operate very concurrently. So if you get a move in the NASDAQ, you generally get a move in the S&P 500 as well. And that's the case today. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to pull up my chart. I can kind of show you.
It is already up.
Oh, it's already up. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. So look, I might disappoint a lot of people. I'm a bear in this market, so I have been.
Hey, disappointing who?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe we're all bears here, but yeah, Brett is as bullish as he comes. So whenever I come in and put some bear negativity, there's always a side. But yeah, no, I am a bear up here. So I think this area here is I'm looking. Anytime we pop in plus 6,000, I'm really looking for a bearish trade here. So I'm actually in a swing trade short already. So I was in from 59.70 a little while ago. I was up quite a bit actually. I was up a good 150 odd points. I took a little bit of profit down here, but I'm still in that trade. It's back. I'm back above the entry price, but. Yeah, I mean, my bearish thesis really is that we've been, the last kind of bear market we had was 2022, I think here, and since we bottomed there at the end of 22, we've had pretty much a year and a half kind of bull market here. So we've had the breakout here, we've had a little pullback, and I looked at this price here, and it's starting to look quite toppy. We're kind of you can kind of see here that there's usually a little curve in any kind of trending move here. You're starting to see some bearish divergences. So it was a good chance of the market turning here. And then we obviously had the trigger, which is the tariffs. And I do think with what's happening, politically and I think it's going to have a major impact on the economy. I do think we're heading into a recession, and we've had kind of the first impulse of that downside move here, and unexpectedly, I did expect a bounce, but I didn't think we would kind of reverse this heavy. But when I look at when I compare this to this kind of black swan event to COVID, I mean, if you look at COVID here, we did reverse. We had a little wobble here, which is the kind of similar level we've got here, right? But we broke out of that and we broke to new highs, and then we went on this curve. I don't see how this. I think that was a unique event. It was a black swan. It was a shock to the economy, but we bounced back, and the Fed helped with that in terms of easing. I don't think we have that kind of Fed support this time, and I don't think this is going to be a quick recession. So if that's the case, I just can't see how we break out to new highs here. And if we're not going to break out to new highs, we're at some pretty significant resistance here. So yeah, I'm in a swing trade short, and I'm looking for us to get right back down to these levels over the next few months or so, and that's where I'll probably start. I'll probably take some profits down here. But yeah, that's just my view on the market. I know we're 5 minutes from the open, but
I was just about to ask, what are you looking at right now, 5 minutes into before the open?
Yeah, let me get rid of this box. Yeah. So I was actually looking for a short trade around this G. So this is a Breck trade, the GP. So this 618 kind of level here. So I did miss the entry already, but I do think that there's a good opportunity. I mean, if we're trading, you've got to look at risk reward, right? I think there's fantastic risk reward entering a trade there. You've got a nice stop. I mean, it's a wide stop, right? It's 10 points. But you've got a chance of a trade that could break that lows, and if it breaks that lows, there's a gap here in terms of volume that you can trade down to, and there's pretty.
We already have people in the chat who took that GP. So.
Oh, awesome! Well, I'm gonna just take the trade anyway, because why not? We're live. So trade.
Gandalf trading live before the market has even opened. That's amazing. We have 4 minutes left, 3 minutes and 23 seconds left. Sorry, Mary, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just curious now. Yeah, we're coming up to 4 minutes here. I'm just curious real quick. Do you rely more on the fundamentals or the technicals when you're trading? Because I know that you kind of spoke about the fundamentals here, but how much of that actually goes into your trading?
Yeah, because I'm a longer term trader, you do need to be in tune with fundamentals, right? Especially when you're swing trading stocks, you've got to understand that. If you're going to hold a stock for several months, you've got to, that has to be a good company, something that you believe in, and you're getting in it. You use technicals to get in at the right price where the risk reward's in your favor, right? But yeah, for swing trading, you need to understand some of the fundamentals. I mean, if you're trading intraday like this, I think it helps, like I just explained right now, that we're on the long-term charts, we're in some, we're hitting mud in terms of, resistance up here. So if I was day trading these, and I honestly don't have time to day trade every day running a prop, but if I was day trading this, I'd be biased towards short trades up here. I wouldn't be looking, you could get signals like, this was right here was a nice signal long, you can see that level here. You could have taken that long trade, but I probably wouldn't, because again, I'm really looking for that retracement to try that short trade. So yeah, I'd say, I do use fundamentals quite a bit.
All right. Yeah, so that makes sense from a swing trading perspective. Okay, well, we got about less than 2 minutes here. So let's see what we get.
See somebody in the chat, Vinny, asking about your footprint charts. So how do you incorporate that alongside your candlesticks?
The footprint charts?
Oh, I'm sorry, whatever. Yeah, on the side there.
Okay, yeah. So I use this quite a bit. So this is volume by price versus volume by time, right? So this is looking at the volume at that particular price rate range. So you can see these bars here. I have pretty fine bars. So I don't use it. It's really to confirm, levels. So if I look at, I use it more in stock trading, I would say. So let me take a look at a good stock, Barber maybe. So Barber's if you look at what, you can see these color codes here. If it's green, it means I'm long or I'm looking for longs. If it's red, it means I'm bearish. Yellow, I'm just kind of monitoring. But you can have a look. So I'm looking, like I said before, I'm looking for swing positions, and I'm looking for key volume levels, especially when you get on the weekly. So you can see here, you can see where all the volume is here, and that's kind of a price where I'm targeting to purchase. So I've been long Barber since this level here, so about $80. So I use it in my swing trading quite a bit. Don't use it. All right, we got the market open, right?
We are open.
All right,
Matt, you missed your line.
I'm sorry. Oh
You
yeah,
missed your
ding
line.
ding, motherfuckers.
There we go. You're in a short now, Vinny, right?
I'm in a short. Yep, I'm in a short from 59.86 around that level. So a couple $100 out. I'm in one contract. ES.
And where do you have your target and where do you have your stop?
My stop will be 6,000. So that's about a 16. One contract. So 16 points. It's pretty wide stop. TP. I'm just gonna watch. To see if we. Let's see if we get back to the lows of the pre-market session, which is about 59.75. If we get back down there, I think we're going to break it. So I'll probably look for the next level below that, which, look at the charts. Probably looking at 59.56 if we break that pre-market low.
All right.
Initial move to the upside here. We are currently taking out that whole move that we got on the news in the pre-market. This 755 level is going to be a key area along with yesterday's high. So I do want to see that bulls have conviction above these levels, because we very much could have a wick into that area and then a drop. So I'm going to be a little bit extra patient today.
6,000, a very, very strong resistance area on just about any time frame chart you throw up there, 1 hour, 4 hour, etc. So here we'll pull up the 4 hour very, very quickly here. We're getting, I think, to an inflection point here on the ES, just between the trend line, kind of squeezing that price action, and this looks like a classic Nick flag going on here, doesn't it, Nick, on the 4 hour?
On the I'll need to
ES 4 hour.
I'm looking at your chart. That's easier. Yeah. Although I do not trade bull flags on 4 hour charts, I trade them on the 1 minute.
Or the 15 second, the 5 tick.
No. Just the 1 minute.
You're printing if the market maker's thinking about something. That's
Vinny, what is the lowest time frame you like to go? What's your sweet spot when you're intraday trading?
I trade the 3 minute chart. It's really weird.
Okay.
Something new.
He's not going to give either of us a W on that one, is he?
Yeah. I can't remember why I started trading the 3 minute, but really 3 minute and 5 minute. So I'm looking. I think really my time frame is the 5 minute, but I look at the 3 minute to just get a little bit ahead of what might happen on the 5 minute. I think, and I just got used to doing that, and then I just stuck to the 3 minute. It's been the chart that I've looked at basically. Again, I'm a little out of touch with day trading, so it's I've been swing trading for quite a few years. It's with day trading, it's like being an athlete. You need to keep those muscles warm. So we'll see.
Yeah,
my trade doesn't look good right now, but we'll see. I still think there's some strong resistance here, so we'll see. Let's get this 15-minute opening range out of the way, and then we'll see.
We're rejecting it on NQ as well now. The 750 area. So
yeah, there's some clear resistance, even at like 59.96 area on ES. Doesn't take a technical analysis to see that there's very clear resistance there. Nasdaq, same thing. How much do you look at both futures in terms of confluence for taking a trade on ES? Do you look at levels on NASDAQ when you're looking at ES, or do you just primarily focus on ES?
Yeah, I primarily look at ES, and I do prefer ES because it's a little bit more balanced than the Nasdaq. I mean, the Nasdaq, I think I was looking the other day, and 5 stocks make up 50% of the Nasdaq, which is just you get one big move in one of those stocks, it moves that massively. So I think the 5 stocks are Nvidia. A bit here actually, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Meta. So they make up 50%. So it's just not. You've got a bit more. I feel like there's a little bit more control in the S&P 500 than you do in Nasdaq. I mean, you get bigger moves obviously because of that. Those are pretty volatile stocks. So, but yeah, I do look at both charts.
Yeah, it's funny we were talking about this yesterday because I also used to trade. I started futures by trading ES, and then I got hooked on NASDAQ, and now I just can't stop trading NASDAQ. But there is something nice about the flow of ES sometimes where, it does feel a little bit, it is obviously a lot slower, but it feels more controlled, to your point. And Matt said this nicely a few days ago. The reasons you should trade ES are probably, the way you should go. If you're not trading ES and you don't want to trade ES, you probably should be trading ES. So it's something that I definitely will decide to trade on some days more than others when I'm looking at the market. But that is something I was just curious about because I do feel like, on some days where ES is kind of moving a little bit differently than NASDAQ, it's more indicative to kind of be more selective of your trades. So
yeah, and I think it's important to look at other. If you're primarily, I think it's a good thing to trade one thing, trade it well, because you get to learn how that how it moves, what type of market structure is common with that instrument. So yeah, but I mean, you can look at other things just to give you some confluence in your decision making. But if you've been trading the NQ for a long time, then I wouldn't make a jump to trade anything else. Just learn that and understand how it moves, right?
Absolutely.
I was just about to say you're almost convincing me to start trading ES, but I'll stick to NASDAQ.
Yeah, Nick's never traded ES in ever.
Nope. We're breaking out now of that upper resistance.
Completely retrace the morning move.
Yeah. Yep. It never happened.
Sitting at 21.70 for NASDAQ right now.
Yeah, so this is an interesting move. I'm looking at book maps too. We do have some resistance on the NASDAQ. Next level I would see is 790. So if anyone's in a long, just be mindful of that level. It's 790 and then 800. We have some strong wall of sellers sitting at those levels. Those are actually in confluence with the areas that I would be looking for targets. So that's just something to consider if you are in a long.
Yeah, absolutely. I even pulled up my 4-hour chart for this. You proud, Matt?
I am exceedingly.
Yeah, ES is still going to be that 6,000 level. So for me, I'm going to be watching the 6,000 to see if we can actually sustain. We are trying to hold this level of 59.96 because that next level is going to be 6,000. So I want to see if we can actually clear. I drew this seller zone here, so it's actually a zone up through 6,015 that we have to really push through and get some momentum, because we do have some room to the upside if we can clear this area. But
we just reached 790 on NASDAQ, the level you just called out before.
Yeah, I see 786, but we are pretty close to that level for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at MNQ right now. That's why 790.
Oh, it shows different on MNQ?
Yeah, that's always a couple ticks or points difference, especially during market open.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a pretty wide opening 50. I mean, I'm guessing this has been the case every day, right? Wide 15-minute range.
Typically,
it's been like 10 points on ES. So I'm just gonna wait. I'm not gonna stop out this trade until the 15 range has been made, and then if we do break out of that range, then I'll probably stop out. But Yeah, we'll see. Interesting.
What do you consider a breakout of the 50-minute range, Vinny? Is that when a certain time frame closes outside of the 50-minute range, or once we peak out of it? Like, well, what is it for you?
Yeah, I'm looking at the 3-minute chart, right? So if you get a 3-minute close outside of that 15-minute range, then and your trade is on the other side, then you probably want to look at your stops. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm just watching right now. It's it's an interesting open.
It is. Yeah, we've had some of those recently.
We've had some interesting opens. We've had some interesting afternoons. We've had some interesting like 9:37 a.m.s with random shit popping up.
Yeah, everything.
Well, we do also, I believe, have some data coming out at 10 a.m. here. So something also to keep in mind, we have ISM services, PMI. So if you guys are looking to take a trade, I would highly advise not doing what I did yesterday and forgetting that we had data and getting into a trade 2 minutes before. So that's something I'm going to be looking for and making sure I'm aware of. And I know Nick has his little strategy for that he puts on his charts, which I should start implementing actually.
This is such a cheat code. Like literally just putting a red line and locking it, and you're good. Never forget it.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, even when I day trade, I feel like I do trade. When I look at other people trade, I have a little bit of a different style. So I do keep pretty wide stops. So usually my trades, they're kind of 1-to-1 risk rewards. Usually, the stop is the stop location's about the same distance as my take profit, and it's just been. I do think new traders do make this mistake of that, thinking that they need to find 1-to-5 risk reward ratios, right? Which I think if you do that, I think when you're starting off as a trader, I think you want to try and focus on your win rate, right? If you got 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, you're going to win more trades than you lose, right? It's just math, right? Mm-hmm. And I do think if you're going to keep these tight stops, the chances are a lot of price is very random. It's just noise, right? So if you've got a 3-point stop loss, I mean, you could very easily whip that, and then the trade will go the other direction, right? So I do think if you're starting out, lower your contract sizes and keep kind of wider stops, and it will, you'll start to improve your win rate, and then you can start to optimize your trading from there, right?
Yeah. Got a good question in the chat. It's to me, but I'm gonna kick this to Vinny. It says, I'd like to know if the trend bounces out of the 15-minute opening range with a strong body close outside, but then after a few candles returns back inside the orb. How do you manage existing open trades?
Yeah, so I'm not really an orb trader. I'm just I'm using it here to manage my trade. You obviously if you built a 15-minute opening candle, and we're about to close that in a couple of minutes. That usually gives you an indication of the trading range for the day and some of the key levels, right? So yeah, I mean, if you get the next candle, next 5-minute candle, wherever you're trading, has a strong it's a strong bullish candle above that opening range, and you're short, then the chances are that your trade is in the wrong direction, and you should probably look at a good place to get out of that trade. That doesn't mean the price is going to continue higher. As I just said, a lot of price is very random. The shorter the time frame you go, the more noise and randomness that comes into price, I think. So, but again, as traders, we play probabilities and math, right? That's what we do. So you've got to have a system that you follow, and if you can exit the trade and the price reverses in your direction, you kind of have to take the emotion out of it. It just happens, right?
Mm-hmm. Very true. And by the way, guys, if you want to ask questions to Vinny, feel free to ask them in the chat. We'll hand select a couple that are really good because he's going to be on for a bit longer, and we're also going to do 2 more giveaways for sure. Maybe we never know when Brett suddenly has feels a burst of generosity and gives away even more. I mean, the giveaways are already crazy, but we do have more coming, so stay tuned for that too.
Love that. I want to know too, Vinny, how did you and Brett meet? How did you guys link up and decide, you know what, we're gonna?
Well, first of all, you need to ask if he can tell that story. I think
This is true.
I don't know it, but I
what kind
know
of details
Brett,
do
so I
you think are
wanna
in
be
there?
careful.
I should have looked at that before asking.
No, it's pretty interesting. I think Brett's been on a few podcasts and he's talked about the story of how Tradeify started. But yeah, I mean, Brett. So I think I mentioned I started trading in 2017. So Brett and I think both started trading in 2017, and we both initially started with the first, I think, major crypto bubble that happened in 2017. And we both, were on the tail end of that. So yeah, and part, what kind of exploded around that time was kind of now they're called Discord groups, but there were, furus online that you could, that started to, claim they knew this or, So Brett and I both kind of followed the same furu back in 2017, and we joined that person's group. And in that group, we both realized we made a terrible mistake because this guy didn't know what he was talking about. And but yeah, Brett and I started talking on the side, and then we started trading together a little bit, trading crypto. We both started trading options together, and then we both made the move to futures together. And then Brett went off and did his thing with Simba Stock. So he had a stock trading group. There's probably quite a few Simba Stocks OGs in the chat, I imagine. But yeah, I joined Brett in that group. I was one of his traders in that group, and that's actually how the name Gandalf came about. So there was a guy in that group who was also helping Brett run the group called Dario. And I think because I was about 10 years older than everyone, and everyone was this was the time where everyone was YOLOing call options and doing zero D2Es. I was kind of the wise voice telling people not to do it. Save your money, buy Apple stock instead. So I think Dario coined the name Wise Old Gandalf, which is kind of stuck to today. But that's how we met. And then I think I mentioned I started trading. We both started trading Top Step around that time as well. I was more interested in the business model that Top Step had, and that's when talking to Brett, we decided that we would want to consider starting a prop, and we're talking 4 or 5 years ago here. So it took us quite a long time to actually make this happen, I would say. Yeah.
Well, I know there's some details in there missing, but we'll keep that for another time for sure.
That's the PG version, yeah.
I love it.
Oh man, there's actually there's still people confused in the chat. They're like, wait, is Vinny Gandalf? Yeah, we can clarify.
Spoiler alert.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been under that Gandalf name for like 7-8 years now. So today is the first time a lot of people would have seen my face or maybe even hear me speak. So yeah,
that's
sure.
crazy.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
To be honest, I never really. It wasn't a decision to not show my face. It was just one of the things. Maybe I'm like a little bit older than. So that those growing up now, it's normal to be on social media, right? I mean, it's just part of life. But I don't know about you guys, but I've somewhat been a bit more private with social media, and so yeah, I had no issue with doing it, but I felt like once we decided 6-7 months ago to do Tradeify and do Tradeify TV, I did tell Brett, I want to be part of that, and I'll probably start to show my face and start to engage with the community.
We love it. Well, we love that you're here. I know the chat is absolutely loving you as well. So, we're glad that you're showing your face as part of this. And we're going to give you a new name tag, actually, because clearly there's some confusion as to if you're Gandalf or if you're Vinny. So we're going to get that updated in a bit here.
I just opened up the chat and I bet his name is not really Vinny. What do you think my name is? Why would I make up the name Vinny?
Because you're a winner.
That's it.
I love it. Awesome. Well, we are holding this. We did just set up the opening range here for all my opening range breakout traders. So we are currently in this range of 792 on NASDAQ to about 716. So a breakout is what I would be looking for either direction. And I can actually even highlight that here. Let me get my little area. So
Mike asking the real questions in the chat here. Has Vinny ever seen the movie My Cousin Vinny?
I think I might have a while ago. Yeah, I can't remember it that well, but it rings a bell. I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, guys, I think it's time for another giveaway. What do you think?
Ooh. Do we want to do that, Vinny?
Yeah, what we're gonna give away?
You can
whatever's in your wallet. Whatever's in your wallet right now, Vinny. That's what we're giving away.
Let's have a look.
On the
Why don't we do
plan.
the big one? Why don't we do? I don't know. Has Brett signed off on a 150 straight to funded or?
Yeah, he said 150 growth as the next one, but you can do whatever.
150 growth. Let's do it.
All right. So let's do it again. We're gonna do it differently this time. Different keyword. Vinny, you can pick pretty much any keyword you want. But guys, I'm just gonna let you know now. Make sure, in order to participate for the giveaway, you have to like the stream, you have to subscribe, and then you have to type the keywords that Vinny is gonna give in a second. And you're gonna make sure that you only type it once in the chat right here. So Vinny, what's the keyword?
Well, considering I'm short, I think the keyword is bear.
Oh,
okay. There it is. Bear in the chat for 150K growth account. Let's see. It's gonna explode in a second. There we go.
Naturally.
There we go.
Nice.
Oh, we got a lot.
Somebody before said, actually, as a play on Gandalf, and his "Thou shall not pass," he requested a giveaway for resets so that you shall pass. This chat is so creative. I love Tradeify TV viewers. This is great.
That's pretty clever. Let me get sign off on that.
I also just called Brett in a chat commenting bull instead of bear.
Oh. Don't worry. When we have you back on the stream, Brett, you can have your moment.
Yeah. Come back for the golden pocket. Oh, funny.
All right. Well, we are
funny.
still
Right.
I think it's looking a little heavy here on ES. I might still be good. We'll see.
Are you still in?
Yeah, I'm still in. It hasn't hit my stop yet.
Ooh.
I'm still in. I'm
Wow.
down a little bit, but-
Look at this move.
Yeah, here comes Vinny's
sorta-
move. I mean, Vinny says bear, and everybody says bear, and suddenly it drops. I mean, coincidence? I think
Right.
Thanks for the energy, guys. Thanks.
not. Nice. That's some serious wizard power there.
Yeah, Nick needs to talk more about the market to start the drop, says Javier.
I like it.
15 minutes looking interesting. If we close where we are here, we got some tweezers going on, which looks interesting.
Let's see. We're still bouncing off of that little mini trend line that I drew out, starting from 8:25 a.m. today on the 1 minute chart. It's pretty low time frame, but it seems to respect it right now on NQ.
Yeah, still holding VWAP as well.
And don't forget, guys, vertical line tells me data is coming out in 6 minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay.
So, Mary, if you enter
what's the data release in 6 minutes?
What's that? Sorry, Vinny?
What's the data release in 6 minutes?
Mary, you still have it open?
ISM services PMI, so
Okay.
Yeah, guys.
Also, we just got word on the winner. Mariam, do you want to announce the winner of the 150K?
All right.
150K growth account?
Yep, we sure have a winner. So the winner is CP Trader. CP Trader, congratulations.
Make sure
that you type in the chat.
Yeah, there we go.
CP Trader, where are you at?
Where's CP? Let's observe the chat here. Come on. Oh, he's there. There we go. Congrats,
Nice.
CP Trader.
Congratulations.
Just won 150K growth account.
Woohoo. We really need that soundboard.
We need the soundboard. It would make it so much nicer.
We really do.
Yeah.
We'll get it.
We will get it. We all have the soundboards. We just need to set them up, to be fair.
Right.
Let's see.
Well, interesting opens so far on the market. ES still struggling at that 6,000 level. NASDAQ also not able to clear that 95 area. So
we do have a special message here for Brett Simbas. He just said, guys, over the next couple of minutes, you might want to pay pretty close attention to the chat. I'm not going to give away the special or what's coming, but you might want to pay attention to the chat.
Oh, he just messaged in the chat, dropping some resets. Write down the next few texts. Interesting. Didn't I just say before, maybe Brett will feel some urge to give away more stuff. There we go. So pay attention to the chat, guys.
It's because I'm stuck on the stream now, and I'm not. I'm usually the finance guy in the background trying to call him off the ledge.
So you're thinking,
now he's got free reign.
Yeah.
Nice. Also, guys, make sure if you want to get those resets that you like the stream and you subscribe to the channel, because if we grow this thing, then Brett is going to feel way more generous. I know that.
He says he can't stop me now. Viddy, you might want to pull up the company card statement right now.
Also, I'm eyeing a short here, guys, just so you're aware what I'm doing.
I do also like these shorts. If we can get this break.
Better entry than me.
Because there's plenty of room to the bottom of the 15-minute opening range.
Data comes out in less than 4 minutes here. So
that's the one thing that I don't like about this.
Yeah. It's always like that, right? It's always like inching you into getting into a trade right before.
Oh, yeah.
I can see the case both sides. If I'm looking at the chart, I mean, it's consolidating here, right? It could be a bull flag, but let's see.
Yeah. Also, PMPFX, a good old viewer of the stream by now, coming back all the time. He just mentioned we crossed 11K subscribers. Good catch, man. And thank you guys all for subscribing.
Thanks to everyone here for joining with us and subscribing to the channel. We really appreciate you guys rocking with us every single morning or evening, depending on where you're at.
Yeah, I was going to say actually that we looked for hosts for this show. We looked for a long time for the hosts, and I think Brett and I must have auditioned 12. I can't even remember. Lots of different candidates to host the show. And I just want to say you three were by far the standout candidates. And I want to hear in the chat how much we're enjoying the show, because I think you guys have really showcased your knowledge, expertise. Live trading in front of thousands of people, it's not easy as well. So I got to commend you on the start you guys have made to the show. And I think we're going to turn this into the biggest trading stream on YouTube. So congrats on the start. And let's take us to the next level.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I don't know, Vinny. The chat thinks you should fire me. So it's been one, guys. I appreciate it. Of course I'm kidding. No, Brett actually just said to tell you the story. I don't know if you heard the story. So he told us this when we were down in Miami for our shoot. He actually told it on stream last week in an abbreviated version too. But he apparently had just a ton of entries. People asking for audition tapes, whatever that. And he said he watched one that was just so bad. It was like a guy doing it on a phone in his car. And
I remember that one.
Yeah. So, but apparently mine was right underneath it. And when he clicked to delete that, he deleted like 3 of them, and mine was one of them. And he said, he's like, fuck it, I'm not even going to worry about it. Then he's like, well, you know what? I better go back there. And so we're totally grateful for that. But yeah.
I remember when he saw yours, and I think he messaged me and he says, I think we found the one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad.
By the way, guys, sorry, really quick. You don't have to type Gandalf in the chat anymore. It's what Brett dropped is a reset code. You don't have to type that in the chat. It doesn't do anything here. You can just take it and use it on the website.
All right, guys, we're under a minute to the PMI. You know, this is kind of one of those news releases. It could have zero impact. It could have. I don't think we're going low a day off of this unless it's just nightmarishly bad. But you know, the first 30 to 60 seconds after any kind of major news or economic news is important. Guys, also make sure, take this from somebody who made this mistake a lot as a newer trader. If you're not in a trade right, well, even if you are, check your orders before a big news release. Always scan your orders, make sure you don't have anything open, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, also, I just realized I just fucked up, guys. It's not like Gandalf is not the reset code. Sorry, it's the first part of the reset code. my bad. But you don't have to spam the chat anyways.
Oh wow.
Oh crap.
Oh wow.
Holy smoke.
Goodness.
Did we get the release? What's the?
Definitely got it. Well, we're getting the reaction to it, whatever it is. But I know, Matt, you might have that pulled up in a bit.
We even gapped on the 1 minute.
Came in 49.9, expecting 52. So.
Oh, wow.
All right.
That short is looking nice, Vinia.
Settle a little bit. I'm going to be watching this trend line here, guys. We did break the opening range. Let's see if we can actually sustain below it on this next candle. Give it time to settle a little bit here. Don't try to pop into a trade just yet.
First reaction can get reversed pretty quickly, so be careful.
It's pretty crazy. Even on the
50 is pretty interesting, right? I mean, it's to be expected with the tariffs, right? I mean, I think seeing a reduction in manufacturing so manufacturing is basically contracting. I think, yeah, but I think for it to be expected to be 52 and it to be under 50, I think that's a market moving result, I think.
Well, it's certainly moving.
It even has a gap on the 1 minute chart. That's how bad it was.
We are still holding VWAP on both futures, so
yeah, we just pushed right back above 59.90 too.
Guys, don't try to jump into anything yet. Let the market settle. Let the news digest. This is one of those where you could get right into it and get completely wicked out. So just be mindful of that.
Yeah, if this market shrugs this off and gets back above 95, we could finally go test the actual 6,000 today. Gotta wait for these first couple of minutes, though.
Guys, pay attention to the chat. It might help you get something. Brett just dropped the last word.
Yeah, ES is
going into their charts right now.
What's that, Vinny?
I agree.
Just ES seems to be a little bit stronger than NQ right now. So obviously some of those Mag 7 stocks are a little bit weaker.
But we're getting back to your entry now.
Above VWAP.
Yeah, we're right back at my entry. So we'll see here. I think I will place the stop. I'm showing some bad practices here. I didn't actually have a stop. I was watching it. So I was kind of live trading the stop, but I'm going to place the actual stop now. I think at 6,000. Now that we've let this open kind of play out, we've got the data out of the way. So I think we've got a good place to place a stop.
All right.
See if 700 breaks here. It's looking like it is. I'm gonna be watching this trend line, guys. Have this trend line ready to go.
What time frame are you looking at?
I'm looking at the 5-minute.
All right.
You all need some NASA service for the website. Does that mean the site's down, Brett?
We break it again.
Doing that all the time, it seems like.
Yeah, it's the spikes in volume. You know, we're handled for pretty heavy volume, but when we get a big spike, that kind of kills the servers, and then after a few minutes, it's back online again. But it must have spiked the server again.
Some tiny little town in backwater Indiana has a big smoke plume going up at their server farm right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, still a bit of a battle. Like I said, I think we've got this range now on ES from that pre-market low to the high that we just made after open. It's between 6,000 and 59.70. I think when we break above or below, I think we'll get a pretty sizable move.
All right, so we are trying to break underneath 700 here. Let's see what we get. Still a battle them.
We're back at the daily open now. Not the 9:30 open, but the open of the futures market.
Wow, what a battle it is on book maps. It is going absolutely crazy.
Yeah. It is stalling out a bit here.
Trying to. I feel like these sellers are going to try to actually push through. Got a lot of volume on that last candle, so see what we get. 690 is also a little key area here that we do need to break through.
Mm-hmm. But you're waiting for the trend line break, Mariam?
I am waiting for the trend line break, yes. I do want to see us actually break this 59 area. So we do have some
79 now.
in here.
75.
I'm in profit, baby.
Let's
Nice.
go. Give it up for Vinny.
I should close just so I could log in a green trade for my first appearance.
That was worth it to hold through that 50-minute opening range, that's for sure.
Watching this level here. Sellers are kind of coming in a little hot.
Yep, we like that, right?
We do like that.
Just need to see some sort of consolidation before I can enter, because that would be chasing for me. Damn, Vinny, I think you need to keep an eye on Brett. He's dropping another one in the chat.
Wait a minute.
Pay attention to the chat, guys, and make sure to like the stream.
I know, as the market is actually moving, he's going to decide to drop something crazy, so. I am hyper focused on this, guys.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, let's watch it. I think, yeah, I want to see. I mean, we're going to get something at 50. Well, let me look at NASDAQ because that's what you guys are looking at because it's similar. But yeah, we're at that pre-market low, right? We're coming right up at it. I mean, if we're going to, like I said, if we hit the pre-market low again, we're going to break it. Like, it's just, there's no way that's going to be support.
No.
All right, I'm in.
We just broke it.
I am in at 663.
Nice.
My target is going to be 640 as the first target. And I apologize, guys. I have no idea why my trading is not showing up on this. But I am in at 663 for a short. First target is approaching. I'm actually going to be taking off a little bit here. I want to see this 35 break.
Yeah, now we're touching those wicks from yesterday afternoon, 2 p.m. That was an area I marked out. So let's see if we can push through or if we just reverse here or stall out. Let's see.
If you are in this, the target is going to be that 636 level. That is a key area. So if you want to set your your target a little bit above that, then that would be probably the smart move to make. I'm not going to lie. I did go a little bit heavy on this, more than my normal size, which we would probably stop me out here. So I want to see this trend line actually hold below, especially on the 2-minute here. We're getting a lot of buying pressure.
Yeah, I wish I
we are
shorted
holding this
NQ.
trend line.
You wish you shorted NQ, Vinny?
Yeah, because ES is a little bit stronger than NQ. NQ's the move is more exaggerated than NQ.
NQ is pushing pretty hard as well right now.
Yeah, we are getting this move back up. So if you guys didn't already take off, I took off half of my position. I'm actually going to keep my stop a little bit tight on, or a little bit high on this, which I will actually stop out if we get above this 700.
Wait, your target was 640?
So I took some off at 641.
Oh, okay, nice.
Literally, like bottom that.
I was just about to say, because we went to 641.
Yeah. Literally bottom that. So I'm going to have the rest of my position stopped out at, I have 40 points on this. So, and I just stopped out.
All right.
So I am down on this trade. I am up for the day though. So that is something that I mentioned to you guys, that I did take a trade earlier. I got a pretty decent move out of that. So I'm down on this trade, but I'm still up for the day.
Nice.
So we are rejecting. One thing I do want to see though is if we're going to reject, I might actually consider a re-entry at this 720 area with a stop. The only thing I just don't like the volume that just came in. Yeah, maybe not. This might get invalidated here, but this is the opening range. So this box that I drew out here, this is the opening range. So if we can reject this area, this might be a good re-entry.
I mean, we got a pretty hard push from the 636 level, 635 level yesterday at 2 p.m. And that is exactly what this candle now rejected as well at 10:08. So it's a pretty strong level down there.
I'm going to try another re-entry here, guys. I do like what I'm seeing here. The only thing is I'm going to have a little bit of a tighter stop on this. 15 points is going to be my stop. So I just re-entered here at the 720 area. So I'm in at 720. I want to see this rejection come in pretty hard. I will stop out though if I get this move back to the upside. 720. We are 20 points into this. I'm going to take off a little bit more. Again, I do want to see this break back down below this trend line. So my stop is, where do I have it? 735. Right about here. Currently, we are rejecting the 720 area. So let's see. I don't know why my chart is not showing on here, guys. I apologize.
Vinny, what are you looking at right now?
Right back to the midpoint in this range, so that the kind of range is made between. Let me just get up. Thank you. Yeah, between around 660 and 780. That seems to be the trading range we're in. So
yeah.
The fact that we bounced back off the bottom of that range pretty aggressively means we might stay in these price levels for quite a while, potentially.
It looks like it.
So you could trade this range. I mean, actually, range trading is, I think, one of it's boring. You know, trading barcodes is boring, but there's some of the highest risk reward trades you can get from trading ranges. But yeah, I think we might have one here. We'll see. If we get back to that pre-market low quickly, if we get back there in the next 15, then then potentially we could break it. But it looks like I think we may have set the range for the day here, potentially.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Let's see. We are still respecting this opening range low here. So that's the reason I re-entered this trade, guys. I did see, I was looking at book maps as well. If I get stopped out of this on a wick, it's absolutely fine. But I do like what we're seeing so far, especially on the 2 minute. Now I do monitor my trades on the 2 minute as well. So it looks like ES is also respecting VWAP here. Let's see if we can get this pushed down.
If it pushes down, you got a banger entry. Your entry is 721, right?
Literally, like, yeah,
Holy
721, right about
Sniper
here.
skills.
Those are always the best. Like when you get a good entry, like that's why I'm like, you know what, screw it. If I get stopped out of this, like, I'm not too mad at it, but we'll see what we get. And I'm happy with my risk on this too, because it's not a high risk. It's less than 15 points actually. So we'll see what we get.
Nice.
What are you guys looking at?
Oh, has Brett launched something else? I just went into the chat.
Did he long?
I've just seen a lot of ones. So
No, that's just one part of the keyword, and people still repeat the keyword for some reason.
Oh, okay.
There's no need to. But we could do another, while we're waiting here, we could do another giveaway, because we still have the straight to funded account to give away.
Yeah, that's the big one.
That's the big boy one. Should we do it?
I think so.
Let's do it.
Nice. And then after, we're going to do Q&A with you, Vinny, okay?
Sure. Yeah, I've got another 15 minutes or so.
Cool. Sounds good. All right, let's do it. Okay. Matt, do you want to do it this time?
No, I'm just reorienting myself. I had to, I ducked for a minute. I have a sick dog upstairs. I was at the doggy ER late last night. So
But is he all right?
He's doing good. Pretty bad ear infection, which means I have a bone to pick with the people that I just paid $150 to groom him a week ago. So apparently they didn't clean his ears. So might send them the ER bill. We'll see how that goes. But no, I just had to check on him. You know, yeah. Keyword sick dog.
Sad.
Oh man, Fades is here under his 4th screen name. Fades, I just want to say I love you, brother, or sister, whoever you are. I just want to say all positivity. I love you, brother. And I want to know how you get like 18 screen names just to troll streams.
Fair enough. All right, I'll do it then. For the 150K account, I need to think of a keyword. But while I think of a keyword, guys, you can start asking questions in the chat to Vinny. So he still has 14 minutes now to answer some questions. But let's do a 150K straight to funded account giveaway. And for that, to participate, now people are repeating the word that Brett just gave. Oh man, this is gonna get complicated. But for the 150K straight to funded account, let's keep it simple and just do the keyword S2F for straight to funded. All right. So if you put S2F into the chat right now, you like the stream and you're subscribed, you get a chance to win 150K straight to funded account. Now we switch it up a bit. There we go. Chat is exploding.
I did see one question before the explosion of chat that for Vinny that says, how do you control your emotions in a trade? It's been a theme on this show that we've talked about quite a bit. So how do you personally control your emotions?
Yeah, I mean, I think like everyone else, I mean, I was an emotional wreck when I first started trading, right? Your shit's all over the place. You know, you're in a trade and you just can't stop watching the trade. Like, you'll give yourself excuses for why you should get out or why you should take profit and just not let, when you get into a trade, you should have a plan, right? Of how you're going to manage the trade or where you're going to get out, where you're going to get in. But, yeah, I mean, something I used to do early on is get in a trade and then I'd talk myself into taking a 5% profit on a stock or much shorter than I should have done. And the stock went on and hit my target, right? And you just have to, you have to treat trading like a business. You know, you got to make business decisions on your account. I don't know how I managed to get over that. I'm not emotional at all when I'm trading now, but I think it took time. It took a few years of experience. And once you've got some months of profitability under your belt, where you've got a strategy, you know it works, you've seen it work, I think you just get more confidence as well. I think managing emotions does come with that confidence. The trade here, it's right back at my open. I was up $600, I was down $600, but I've got the trade set. I think I was watching last week. It was Rake Trades was on, and I think he has a similar style to me, which is when if I'm planning a trade and I place the trade, then I'm going to stick to that plan, right? And I think he had a trade that was up quite a bit, but he let it go back and it hit stop loss, and that happens. But if you take early profits and let your stops, if you keep increasing your stops, so you're losing more than you should do, and you're making less than you should do, you're going to end up, the math at the end will end up negative, right? So you've got to get that in check, and just go into your trading with confidence, and it will help you big time. And get some years under your belt as well.
Yeah. I heard somebody say one time, and it's something I've kind of adapted, although I've taken the 3 year down to 1 year on this, but it's the first year of your trading career should be nothing but learning how to manage risk and manage your trades. And if you can do that, and listen, I think I've said on this show before, if you blow your first 2, 3, 4, 5 evals, welcome to trading, right? But if you're blowing 10, 11, 12, 15 now, you need to step back, you need to change something. But if you're just managing risk and understand how not get in a habit of not taking bigger trades and not taking bigger losses, the rest is just figuring out strategies. And guys, we could sit here and do seminars on a strategy or a pattern or this or that. There's a lot of different ways to make money in the market. I think the old phrase is there's a million ways to make money in the market. They're all just hard to find, right? But honestly, just learn how to manage your risk. If you're somebody, like for example, let's say you took your first eval and you blew it in 2 days. Okay, well, maybe your goal should always be to pass, but maybe one of your secondary goals for the next one is I want to keep it for at least 5 days, and then keep it for at least 10 days. Now all of a sudden you're getting into where you're not taking big risks and not taking big trades, and now you're starting to rack up some wins. Just learn how to manage that, and that's something I think again in whereas the prop firm space is just so beneficial to the traders in terms of ease of entry, learning how to work within the framework is something that can be challenging for newer traders. For sure.
Yeah, I've just noticed that my charts are up, so I could show you some of the trades that I'm in right now. If you guys are interested in terms of my swing positions, one of them, and I've posted. You can follow me on Twitter at Gandalf Trader. I don't post all my swings, but the ones that are interesting, I usually post. One of them is in crypto. I trade a lot of crypto. So I posted this, I think, a couple of weeks ago to buy into Ethereum around this 1,500 to 1,800 range. I think that when we look back in about a year, this will be a long-term bottom that we formed here. Honestly, I do think Ethereum has a huge upside, 40% plus to get to those highs, and I think it's going to break it. And again, I could tell you about, I talked about it earlier. My swing trading style is trying to find bottoms, right? And this is exactly the type of bottom that I like to kind of find here, where you've got this, and you can have a look at you can see where I use the volume. I think on Ethereum it should appear here. You've got pretty significant volume around this range. As soon as the price dipped here, we bounced. And I think if you look in the daily, we had a little tweezer kind of formation. You get this strong kind of candle where there's confirmation that this might have been an interesting price level. You get this kind of consolidation, and it's around this consolidation we get a lot of peak in volume. Is usually when I try and get in, and that's the price that I got in there for Ethereum. There's another trade that I'm in, oil, which is going quite nicely as well. This trade is similar again. I'm looking for, I think, this is a fundamental trade really, but I was waiting for the technicals to align. But I think oil is massively underpriced when you look at the geopolitical situation. There's war in Europe. There's a number of factors why oil. I think oil needs to be $65 for US companies to even make money, right? So oil is massively underpriced here, and I think we've dipped under this 65 level. We made a little double bottom here, and this is quite nice as well. Once you build a bottom here, you usually get some little consolidation with high volume here, and this is where the institutions are getting in here to go long, and we've broken that consolidation. We're hitting the resistance. Once we break that resistance, I think there's room at least to $70, and probably I'm thinking this can go higher. So these are the types of trade. I take them on the other side as well. So one trade I'm looking at, I'm not in this trade yet, but I am looking to get short Nvidia at some point. This is kind of looking at the opposite way. So we've kind of built this massive trending move. We had this pullback here, and then we've kind of hit what I call a kind of final excess up here, and then we've retraced back to support. We bounced, and then I think there's again heavy volume. I mean, if I'm bearish on the indices, then Nvidia is the biggest stock in the indices, right? So I think it's like 12% of the Nasdaq. So if I'm bearish the indices, then Nvidia is a good stock. That's going to drive a lot of the price. So I do think this is looking quite heavy up here. And again, the reason why I take these trades is because I've got a well-defined risk reward, right? If I think this is, even if it goes back to support, I know where my stop is. If I think this is a long-term top, I've got a stop with about 10% here, but I'm looking to make 30% of the downside. So there's a strong risk reward. I mean, trying to time tops and bottoms can be a difficult thing. That odds of winning that trade are a bit lower than other trades, but if you do hit, you usually get pretty high risk rewards. So that's been my kind of style over the last few years. Just trying to think, is there anything else here? Barber is another trade I'm in. I think you can get in Barber here actually. This is one again. Hit a bottom here. We hit that consolidation, high volume, entered the trade around this mark. We broke out of that range that we've been in, and now we're kind of making this. It's a bit of a weird consolidation. We pulled back a bit more than I would have liked, but I think we're kind of building this consolidation here, and this is kind of sitting nicely on top of that range. And I think again, Barber's got some room. These are contradicting. If I'm short Nvidia, if I think the market's going to drop, how can it be possible that Barber could be bullish? But I do think there's going to be. And this is just, again, it's a fundamental opinion. I think there's going to be a little divergence in US and Chinese stocks. I do see, China's been in a bear market for a long time now. It's been, well, not bear market, but it's been doing nothing for quite a long time. And I do think there's more upside in China than there is in the US right now. So those are some of my trades. I wanted to just give you that before we drop in a few minutes.
All right. We certainly appreciate that. So as we kind of wrap up with you, Vinny, first of all, we need to have you back. This is not a one or a request. We're gonna, if you don't want to come back, we're gonna make Brett bully you on social media until you come back. But no, in all seriousness, so obviously I'm sure you have some things behind the scenes, maybe not ready for public consumption yet, but let's fast forward a year. Next summer, June of 2026, what is your vision for Tradeify at that point, or what's coming in the immediate future?
Yeah, maybe a year is probably too. We have some grand plans, I guess, that I don't know if I want to talk about too much. But we have
world domination.
Yeah, I mean, we're put it this way: we are Brett and I, and we have another business partner as well. But we're very ambitious with the brand Tradeify. I mean, I think. The prop business is just the start of what we're looking to build. There's other avenues that we're trying to build around the prop space, and that's probably in a year from now. I would be kind of hoping that some of that will come to fruition, and we'll be able to kind of surround your use of props with more tools and technologies that we're kind of building in the background here. But I guess in the shorter term, we've got some exciting things that we've got coming out, and I think I'd encourage you to watch Brett did an interview with Joey Morgan, who I saw in the chat earlier actually, and Brett kind of laid it out there a little bit in more detail. I'll give you some cliff notes though, but we grew so fast over the last year that the technology stack that we built it's fine. It can handle the volume we have, but really we needed to kind of rebuild it to handle scale. If we double in size, then we might be struggling. So over the last 6 months, we've been behind the scenes working on a completely new tech stack, and that is pretty much ready. So in the next few weeks, you'll see kind of refreshed branding. You'll see brand new website, new dashboard, and all of that will look nice on the front end, but really all the work's gone on the back end. And it's going to mean that we can, we've got about 35,000 traders trading with us right now. We'll be able to handle 70,000, 80,000 traders. And that's kind of what we're looking for.
Wow.
We're looking to bring on more platforms. I know there's a lot of people excited about Project X, and we are talking to those guys. We are working with them. We need this tech transition to happen first. So once that's done, once you see the new site, that means Project X is not far away. So I would expect July is a good time to expect Project X, which will be quite exciting. They've got some cool technologies, good features for traders. And then other stuff, more payment options. We're continuously trying to improve the journal. I think the journal is it's highly underrated part of Tradeify. We want to build technologies, and I mentioned it earlier. We don't want to be a prop that is there to try and make money off failed challenges, right? That's why we have the Path to Live. That's why we have an aggressive live program. That's why we're investing in coaching and in risk management, and we want to invest in tools and technologies to help you guys be successful. So we're going to continue to invest in the journal, invest in more educational resources. So we've got a lot coming out. We don't stop working, basically, Brett and I. So we've got a lot of stuff coming. So stick with us. It'll be an interesting ride.
Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah, and thank you so much for being here today. It was super, super valuable. All your insights, super good to see, and also super great to hear everything that you're doing for Tradeify. Like, this company is evolving like nothing else I've ever seen. This is crazy. This is really fucking good.
Yeah. Stay for the ride. It was a pleasure being on. I really enjoyed it. So I'll definitely be back fairly regularly, hopefully. So we'll see you next time I can be on. I'll keep you guys posted on this trade as well. It's not looking good again, but we'll see. I still think we'll stay in this range, but I'll keep you guys posted, and see you guys next time.
Thank you,
Vinny. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye.
And by the way, guys, speaking of guests this week, we just had Vinny on, and tomorrow we're gonna have another very special guest. Right? We're gonna have Tanya Trades on the stream here. We're gonna see the schedule here in a sec. If Drew is ready for that. Oh yeah, he's actually showing a code now. that was yesterday. But we're gonna see the guest schedule in a very short amount of time. Tanya Trades is gonna come on tomorrow, which is gonna be extremely interesting. Looking forward to that. Miriam and Matt, how do you think about that?
I'm super excited.
Frank and Vinny were crazy already.
Man, I agree. Vinny and Asanka like really hit us off with the psychology note, and then Vinny just came in talking about his experience as a COO, talking about Tradeify. So I think wrapping it all up with, like I said, having a female trader on here is going to be our first female guest, getting her perspective on how she trades. I know she's an amazing trader, so I love that we're going to be kind of wrapping up the week with that. And I know, Nick, you're not going to be with us on Friday, so that's a little sad. I'm a little sad about that, but I hope you have a great time.
I actually also just entered a trade, and I literally top ticked it again. If this rips my stop loss, oh man, I'm definitely top tick Nick, because now we had a nice bull flag. It went into the zone that I marked out, which I don't like, so I'm willing to move the stop aggressively. But I'm sitting on a 20-point stop, but just trading 5 MNQ, to be clear. Sorry for the completely random interruption, but I had to mention it because otherwise people are going to be like, what the fuck?
No, I actually I like that you're talking about the charts today. So I did stop out of my original trade. I stopped out for I took some profit off at the 700. So I took another 20-point win. I did take a trade, like I said, in the pre-market, which put me in a very, very good position. So I didn't take too much of a loss on that first trade. And then this one was basically a break even. So that's what I'm sitting at for the day. Sellers kind of made it a little bit difficult today, to be sure. I'm not going to lie. They were kind of flailing around a little bit. We were kind of flirting with this opening range right here until we finally got, the hold in the breakout. Now we are sitting above VWAP. ES is still, still flirting with that 6,000. So we'll see. But it sounds like, Nick, you said you're long, right?
I'm long, but just for 25 point scalp. That would be the idea here.
Yeah, I mean, there's room to that upside. We are still in this, opening range that we're sitting in, we're flirting with, but we didn't quite get that trend line break, guys. So that is something that we held very nicely on the 5 minute, or I'm sorry, on the 2 minute and the 5 minute actually. So didn't quite get the movement that I anticipated for this downside, but hopefully we do get this upside.
Let's see. It was funny, like right when I entered, it immediately reversed for like almost 18 points. It almost stopped me out immediately. That would have been so funny for the stream.
We'll get it one day. I'm sure the market makers are listening.
That's for sure.
Yeah, that was the jackass in the chat earlier. He's a market maker.
Yeah, there we go. Well, awesome. I mean, yeah, we have such a packed week for you guys. Also, I want to say too, I know we trade futures on here, but if there's ever, and we'll have a segment on this, I think, in the future, but if there's any other charts you guys want us to look at that aren't futures related, I know Gandalf was talking about, shorting NVIDIA, for example. He talked about Baba and all his other positions. So if you guys want us to look at other charts for you and analyze what those look like on our end, we're happy to do that as well. So that might be a little future segment here.
For sure. Just looking at the chat right now. Somebody says, Nick, brave going long, touching the golden pocket. Whoopsies. Well, it's not my strategy. The golden pocket is not my strategy. That is Brett's strategy, okay? So leave me alone with it.
I see Josh Hargrave in the chat said, long night at work last night. Now, was it work, Josh, or were you out? So I was at the vet ER at 9:30 last night. So that tells you kind of if I'm here bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, you can be here too. But actually, I hope if you work the graveyard shift, hope you're doing well. Hope you zero in on the afternoon session and go for there. But I got to give you a little shit.
Gotta love it. All right, my long is starting to move higher. Let's see if we can get it.
And I know we're showing my charts, but I don't know, Drew, if you want to go back to next, see what he's
would make
at.
more sense.
Nice.
We're kind of like consolidating around my break-even point right now. So let's see. I'm just gonna leave this as it is for now.
Work at 2:30 a.m. this morning. What do you do, Josh? I mean, you can keep it vague if like you're a spy or a secret agent or something. What do they always say in the movies? Like, I'm in logistics.
He's a market maker.
Yeah, he's a market maker. he was fucking all the Asian traders at 2:30 in the morning.
Exactly.
Oh wow.
Oh, a steel warehouse. Okay. All right. So you're either in the don't say where you are. But you're either in the Pittsburgh area, the Northwest Indiana area, or the southeastern Missouri area.
The chat is freaking active today.
The chat's great today. The chat is absolutely great today.
Also, we just crossed 11,100 subscribers. So that is some good news. We are growing. If we're growing, Brett feels generous. I know it. I can feel it.
Central Indiana. There it is. Yep.
And then you guys are going to get a lot of giveaways. So that is good. We're consolidating literally around my entry right here. We're sitting at break-even point. Been there for the past couple minutes.
In the meantime, we can also look at, I know that some people were looking or asking about certain tickers. I'm happy to look over certain tickers as we are getting this move here. So someone asked about Tesla. I can analyze Tesla and look over, what we're looking at here while
Go for it.
Plays out. All right, if we can go to my charts real quick, I'll show you guys. what I'm looking at on Tesla. So I don't have any levels on Tesla, but you can see here, this is the 4-hour chart on Tesla. We did make this, like I said, you don't have to be a technical analysis to see this very clear resistance line sitting at 366 on Tesla that we did reject. Now we are holding this this level here so far. 326 is what I would be looking at if we can hold this level. We do have some gaps as well. So gap plays are big plays, that some market makers, or not market makers, anyone really can play. And you see this gap that we created on May 12th. Let me just draw this out for you so you guys can see, but this is actually a really pretty gap. I really like this. So if we can come back into this 317 area, we do have room possibly down to 300, 299 would be that area that I'd be looking for us to get into. But gap plays, the reason I like gap plays a lot is because there's this area of no volume, right? There's no orders happening in this area. So gaps likely fill, right? When we're talking about these gaps right here on the 4-hour, the daily chart even, they tend to fill, which means this will very likely, price will very likely get into this area. Now that obviously we have to break this 317, 315 level, but you might see Tesla in the next couple of weeks, if we can't hold this 325 area, get back into this gap, which actually would be a really nice play. Now, if we're looking at how long we'll be in a gap, how long we'll stay in a gap, how much of the gap will actually fill, nobody knows, right? Gaps tend to fill, they don't always fill, right? We could very much have a play where we hold this 317 and bounce right off of it, which, obviously then we'd have these levels to the upside. But for now, I would say overall sentiment, I am bearish on Tesla if I am just looking at this chart. I don't know if you had any specific questions on Tesla, but this is kind of what I'm looking for, us to hold this 324, give us a little bit of a bounce back into 366. If we can hold 366, then we do have some room back into 390, 400, and then 433. But that's kind of what I'm looking at. Yes, absolutely. I am. You know what? I'm not bearish on everything, Power Ranger. I just see bearish charts. So, that's not my fault. That's the market.
Very true. I also,
which is, Barry, that's what it was when we met. That was what kind of threw me for you, because you're a positive person. You're an optimist. You bring a lot of positive energy, and you're like, fuck these markets. They're going down.
Everything needs to die.
Every positive needs a negative. But guys, for transparency's sake, I got stopped out here at what was that? 21,730.75. So it's a little small loss here, $200 or so.
Now, actually, you don't know. She's faking on stream. She's gonna get off stream and she's like full goth. She's gonna go put on all black and
I'm gothic matcha mommy over here.
Absolutely. So I want to address a comment in the chat from Teaming with T. Hope to pass a challenge after failing for years. I will not quit. First of all, I want to commend the fact that you're not giving up, because so many people in this business, you hear the failure rate of traders. It's because they give up. It's not because they're not capable of doing it. Do I think every single person is capable of trading for a living? I do not. And I've disagreed with some friends and mentors on that in the past. But I think I think that if people could really stick it out for 2 or 3 or 4 years and not give up and not get frustrated and not rage quit, I think the success rate would be a lot higher. I don't think that 90% of traders are unable to trade. I would be willing to say at least half, maybe even 3/4 of those that fail, it's because they just quit too early. So I commend you on not giving up. So if you're still there in the chat, I welcome you to drop in a little. We can't read a paragraph, but if you want to give us a little more context in what's your biggest issue? Is it are you oversizing? Do you not have a set strategy? Et cetera, et cetera. I'm happy to address that, because when somebody comes with some a little genuine hurt, maybe that they need to genuine hurt, genuine pain, things that they need to overcome, and you're not just on some BS. We want to help you. And guys, this within the next few months, this stream is going to be big enough. We're not going to be able to zero in on individual people, but take advantage of it now. Says you're in year 5. Okay. So have you passed any evals at all? Or is it just a consistent failure with those? You have a risk management problems. Well, as I said, your first year of trading should really be focusing on the risk management part of things. So Tatiana says you're one of her greatest mentors there, Miriam. I agree. She's one of my greatest mentors too.
Shout out to you, Tati. I love that you're joining on here. So, quick story about Tatiana. She has been rocking with me since the beginning. I appreciate her so much, and I've just seen her grow so much. So, shout out to you, Tati, for just the growth that you've had over the past few years that I've known you, actually. So, shout out to you, my New York babe. You're killing it, and I believe in you. So, keep going.
Okay. So you passed one Tradeify account, blew it the next day over leveraging. So what's your average position size? And you're going to tell me it's way too many minis. You shouldn't be, if you're consistently failing evals, you really need to buy again. What's your average time spent in an eval? First of all, if you're not being able to pass evals and you're trying to trade 5, 6, 7, or you're over there with Mr. 20 accounts, I highly recommend to just zero in on one and two at the max, but really one. And then again, if let's say you average blowing them in 3 days, your goal should not be to pass the next one. I hope you do, but the goal should be to make it 5 days. So reduce your position size, 3 to 5 minis or excuse me, micros, or even less. Go 2 micros, whatever. Well, I can't pass it in a couple of days then, Matt. Well, guess what? You're not passing them as is, right? And I'm not just picking on you, T. I'm just saying in general. So again, let's see, mini. Yeah, get out of the minis, man. Seriously, get out of the minis for a little while. Just drop it down 5 micros max and see how long you can keep the account. You may be surprised that one little change may get you as close to passing as you've been in a while, but it at least will string an account out a little longer, give you more trades to analyze what the problem is. If you're blowing accounts in 3 or 4 trades, we have no fucking clue what your problem is. Okay, because we can't zero in on if you blow 5 accounts on 20 trades, that's way too small a sample size. We need to start seeing, for you to evaluate your trading, we've got to see 50 trades, 100 trades, 200 trades over however many accounts. Then we can see, is there a time of day that you trade best? Is there a particular instrument you trade best? If you're able to segregate your trades by pattern or setup, we can figure that out. Sometimes it's just a matter of eliminating one losing setup that can take you from being a losing trader to a break-even trader. Remember, the first step to making money in trading is to stop losing money. So again, hopefully through all these evals over 5 years, you're tracking your trading, you're seeing some themes develop, and that's how you begin to go from a losing trader to a winning trader. For Nick and Miriam, what was your process like in that what was that sort of that pivotal? I know it's not just one thing, obviously, but what was that kind of pivotal moment where it's like, okay, this little change got me to at least be a break-even trader, and then eventually took me to consistently profitable?
I think when we're talking about, trading in a prop firm account and evaluations, I think one of the biggest things is really sizing down your position. I think growing a small account is one of the most underrated things as a trader, because I always say if you can't grow a small account, you're not going to be able to grow a big account. And if you can't handle that, those small little gains, you're not going to be able to handle the big gains, right? So for me, it's always, I actually did this multiple times where I would fund an account, whether it was an options account or a futures account, my personal account. I would fund it with no more than like $500 to $1,000, and I would grow that over time and try to prove to myself that I can be a consistent trader by just making these small wins, right? You don't have to make these massive gains over a week or even a month time, right? It's just showing to yourself that you can be consistent and sticking to your plan. So that was really one of the biggest things for me, that was the turn, was being able to take, $400, turn it into $10,000. And, that can be done. I don't want to say easily, because it's not easy to do that by any means, but it can be done if you just hone in on your consistency and stay disciplined in that process, and not see, I only made $50 today on this account, or only made $100. No, that can really add up over time. And I think when you're sticking to a smaller account, you're more likely to stick to your plan, because you're not seeing these massive, sweeps in profits and loss. You're sticking to something reasonable that you can stomach. So that's number one. I would say definitely size down your position. Don't feel like, oh, just because I'm making so much money in these funded accounts, that you don't have to stick to the micros, for example. So slowly grow your account, but also don't look at the monetary outcome so much. I think the more that you tether yourself to, oh, I made X amount, or I have to make $1,000 this week, the less your process is going to play effect. So you always want to be process oriented in this. I said this in the beginning of this week, obsess over the process, right? Don't look so much about making a certain profit, because the profits will come if you're sticking to your game plan. So I know that's a whole-winded way of me saying, just stick to your plan, always trust the process with yourself, and just, that's how you build that consistency.
Very true. Also, to add to that, Matt, or to answer your question, for me, it was always, I was green. I was doing pretty well over a very long period of time, and then I would fuck up all my progress in one day, right? Because I could not stand a red day. So, for example, when I got my first set of funded accounts, I literally made like $200,000 within 16 days it was. And then the next day after that 16, I lost 140,000 of it. So that shows, like, for me, it was always that same pattern where I'm green over a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Sometimes best streak was like 2 months, just straight green. But then one red day eliminates everything. So that big change, as stupid as it sounds, was implementing a hard daily loss limit, and just sticking to that daily loss limit, like implemented by whatever software you use. On most softwares, you can actually implement one, and then not being allowed to trade. And that for me did the trick, because I knew, okay, I have to walk away now because I can't even trade. So that was the pivotal moment, honestly.
Yeah, what would you say yours was, Matt?
It was, and that's why I went to the journaling. It was journaling. I did not journal a lot of my trades for probably the first 3 to 4 months, when I was very consistently losing a ton of my own money. And again, I was a swing trader to start with, so it was, maybe 2 to 5 trades per week. So you want to talk about developing enough of a sample size to begin to analyze it. And then I didn't have those first 3 or 4 months. That's where I really struggled. And so once I was able to journal, and once I had a mentor that kind of helped me a little bit to analyze the journal, and journals, I know back in my day, but journals, you had to manually enter everything. What a pain in the ass that was. It would take, the journaling process every night for me now takes 5 minutes. It used to take as much as 2 hours, depending on how many trades I made, and importing charts and running analysis and all of that. So it wasn't really until I had about 200 trades under my belt that I was able to start seeing the patterns emerge of the things that I did wrong. Now, the biggest thing I did wrong was trading small cap stocks like a jackass. So I moved into large cap options, and then I got a little more aggressive. I went smaller position sizes and more trades, so I was able to accumulate more data. And then by the time I got into futures, which is, I made some decent money in options, but futures is a whole new ball game with that. I had the process down already. I knew my process going from large cap options into futures. I knew exactly what my process was, and so it was only about a 2 to 3 month struggle for me when I first started futures, as opposed to, and I was all paper trading for those 2 or 3 months. I learned my lesson in small caps. So as I was able to start putting money into a brokerage account and doing that, it was able to have some small success, but it still took me about 5 or 6 months to where I was consistently seeing those trades. And again, like I said, from that time until now, I've had the exact same morning routine until we launched this show a couple weeks ago. So still a bit of an adjustment for me. But guys, I don't know how else to say this. If you're not, Tradeify is a built-in journal. There's, a ton of journaling companies out there that, really they cost a couple $100 a year. If you do annual subscriptions or you catch them on a sale. If you're not journaling your trades, you're wasting your time and your money. There's no other way to say it. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your money. You may eventually be successful after 10 or 20 years once you kind of, manually do it in your head. But guys, it is the best money you will spend every month if it costs, if it's not built in like Tradeify's journal. So being able to journal the trades, and you don't need these advanced metrics are great. They can help, your MAE, MFE, all that kind of stuff. But if you can just segregate your trades by setup, by day of the week, and if you want to go down to hourly or just morning session, afternoon session, you're going to see if you have 200 to 300 trades, and that's still a small sample size, especially once you get up to about 500 or 600, 700, I promise you will see patterns emerge that will be able to help you at least lower your average loss or stay out of losing trades. And then you can worry about increasing that average winner and increasing your winning percentage.
I love that. Yeah. No, I like what you said. I think a lot of people have you talked about like paper trading too, and I think a lot of people talk shit about it. I mean, honestly, if you're a first time trader, you should not be trading any sort of real money. And I know paper trading it takes away from the emotional side of it. Absolutely, I agree with it. So eventually, you don't want to stay too long in the paper trading, but you do want to have some sort of strategy that you can implement. So make sure that you are utilizing the demos when you're trying to
Marion,
find that edge to begin with.
question on demo, because for me, like I always heard people say like trade demo, trade demo, trade demo. I traded demo once and I was like, yeah, I don't feel anything. This sucks. So
Yeah.
for me, I don't know how you see it, but for me, it was like if I traded demo, I would literally not learn anything because I would just click buttons randomly.
Well,
And
then
I
it
would,
sounds like a personal problem.
yes, probably. But
No,
for
I
me,
get it. I totally get it.
that is where prop firms come in, right? Where if you trade an eval, it's still cheap, but at least you're invested, you know? At least you
Yeah.
have some money in it, and at least you get leverage to trade with. So for me, it's like I would much rather buy an eval and trade with that. Even if I started out, I would much rather trade an eval instead of a demo account.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I think when you're, like I said, when you're first starting out trading, you may not have like, a couple $100s to really want to invest, or maybe you're trying to get into it at first. So it's definitely good for testing things out. But I say that to say that, you shouldn't be sticking to demo trading forever, right? Because it really does remove the emotional side of it. To your point too, when you are financially invested in something, there's going to be a natural human emotions to that. So yeah, that's a great thing about the prop firm space, is that you can invest something really small and not feel like, you're being removed completely from. I know some people have taken out loans to fund trades, or
Never do that, guys.
never do that. Yeah, this is not financial advice, but don't do that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one of those that can put you in a bind financially and emotionally. So make sure that you are aware of the risk that brings. So with that being said, what are we looking at in the charts here, guys? Doesn't really seem like we're
again, it wouldn't be a Tradeify TV without some barcode. I want to say Rule 1 investor said, I used an Excel spreadsheet to track and journal. It's about viewing your trade history. 200 to 500 trades is not enough. I did 10,000 trades and analyzed those over 6 months when I began. Yeah, I do agree with you. Rule 1, rule 1, stop it. I'm just trying to get these guys to start journaling. All right, let's just get that going, and then we'll worry about everything else. But no, yeah, 10,000 trades. That's outstanding. Although for some people that's like 3 days. I think that's like a morning for Simba. So, and then I see, it was Shivy, man, where you been? We've given away accounts and resets today. You got to be on the stream every day, guys. We don't often announce these giveaways too far in advance. That's why you got to be here for the whole 3-hour show. Listen, we're not asking for 9-10 hours of your attention like some other places. Just 3 hours. So, if you're like me, you just gotta get over the ADD and zone in for a little while.
I actually kind of love what Huda ZM said, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering your username here, but says screenshot your trading history from your Tradeify journal and send it into ChatGPT. It will analyze your trades and break it down in Excel format, give you a summary of your wins and your losses. Wow, write that down, guys. Write that down, because that is, I love using ChatGPT as my usual Google. I don't even use Google anymore. I just use ChatGPT. So yeah, definitely a cool way to, fun little hack. I like that little hack.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I like leveraging AI to get better at trading. Super smart. Very, very smart. I see a Troubled Trader. He said, thank you for the reset. He won again. Because I remember the username. He won something, I think last week or the week before. I can't remember. But
It's
some
like
people here are literally winning twice or 3 times. And that's because they show up to every single stream, because they're subscribed, because they like, because they engage in the chat. That is how you get to win. That's how we do it. And it's not, by the way, we do not pick winners, selecting winners. It's always random through a randomizer.
I love it. Oh, good. I said your name right, Huda. I love it. My aunt's name is Huda. So yeah, guys. We're not doing too much here in the session. Obviously, ES is still rejecting that 6,000 level. what's new here. I think if you don't have that line set up on your charts already, make sure you have a clear line at 6,000. I have a whole zone for ES rather than that area, but I'm very much watching that area closely. Now, in terms of what I would be looking for here, I'm still watching this trend line, right? I still like that we're kind of making these higher lows on the 5-minute on both futures. Let me zoom out a little bit on the 15-minute. So, this trend line here is a pretty strong trend line, which I kind of mentioned to you guys that it would be a strong trend line. So if we do break it, as you can see, we're still holding it. If we do break it, that could be a really nice move to the downside. Obviously, it doesn't seem like we're gonna probably get that in the next hour or so. Who knows? We might. But if we do get that, I do like a break. Now I would be looking at below the 642 area. On the NASDAQ. Again, for upside move, we're still in this range. We're still in the opening range. So we would need to sustain above the 795, 800 level for me to get conviction with the bulls. We are starting to try to get this push to the upside. We are making these sort of higher lows, but yeah, just kind of stuck in this range. We might get this little chop today. So don't expect anything crazy, but also make sure you have your head on a swivel if you are in any sort of trades.
Absolutely.
For sure. I'm just looking at the same on NQ right now. We're breaking out of a trend line here. If you go to my chart really quick, we can see it. Yeah, there we go. Coming down from the 2179 level or 792 level, then touched it again on at like 9:49 a.m. and then again at 10:34. So let's see if we can really push this up. That was the move I was looking for before.
Yeah, rule one coming with the fire again, talking about the RTY, canary in a coal mine. I use that exact phrase to describe the RTY, I think on the first show and a couple of times since. Yeah, the RTY, I don't trade it very often, but it is a great measure of the appetite of risk, especially of the bigger institutions and the traders. And it's been overall kind of weak today. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. Now, again, it's 0.2% down. We're all within kind of basically a standard deviation of the open. So just, but if that continues down, especially, that's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on in the afternoon. If we break daily lows, maybe make a run down to 2090 there in the coming days, that could signal that we're looking for a little bit of a pullback.
Love that. Yeah, and if you guys have any specific questions for us, like I said, if you have any charts you want us to look at that aren't related to NASDAQ or ES or even futures in general, I know we looked at Tesla earlier, but if there's anything else that you guys trade that you want us to look at or are interested in our analysis, feel free to drop them in the chat here. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to this channel. Your views really help us. And like Matt said and continues to say, we have a lot going on. We have a lot planned for you guys in the future. So keep rocking with us, and we promise we'll keep continuing to bring you the value that we want to give you.
And it doesn't just help us, it helps them as well. Because I know for a fact, the more this grows, the more generous Brett feels to do giveaways. And of
apparently we just had to have Vinny on more often, because then Brett's working unshackled with the giveaways. So
and yeah, of course, we just want people to show up for the giveaways. That is very clear. I mean, we have guests for you guys, we have live trades for you, we have value bombs, we have everything here, everything that you need if you're a trader, especially if you're a futures trader. So yeah, make sure to subscribe and show up every day, because we're starting to recognize some regulars here. Right, we see Yasir, we see PMPFX, we see Leah. I haven't seen Leah that much today, to be honest.
Leah.
We see Trouble Trader. We have many regulars now, people coming back, which is good to see, guys.
Yeah, Leah's here every day. Yasir's here every day. We're seeing some of the same names again and again. We love that, guys. We love that. Yeah. And like I said, this is the time to get in here and ask your questions and interact with us, and troll us to the point we'll actually see your comments, because eventually that chat's going to be running so quick that it's going to be hard to see. But we definitely appreciate the consistency in our viewership here. So we got a question in there for you, Miriam.
Oh yeah, I see it. And I also see you, USA. I like that. I like that username. I definitely see you. And we see all of you guys. If we haven't mentioned your name, doesn't mean we don't see you. We do notice you guys, and we love when you're popping off in the chat. Let me get to that question. So first question I see is, what strategy do you use, Miriam? So I use basically my biggest strategies that I like to use are going to be the opening range breakout or breakdown. I like the trend lines, as you guys know. I love trend line breakouts. I'm not usually a trend line trendline bounce trader. It's very rare for me to take a trendline bounce, but I do love a trendline break. So I do look at those as well. I like to trade support and resistance. So I do look at, key areas, key levels. VWAP is an indicator that I use as well. And those are pretty much it. Those kind of compile, like, I would say 90% of my trades. I know I took one yesterday that wasn't actually in that sort of strategy. I guess you could say it was more of like a support or a resistance contrarian trade. I call it a hero trade, but usually I don't take those very often. But I am support, resistance, trend line, and or breakouts, opening range breakouts.
Oh yeah, I just saw LT in the chat too. He's here all the time as well.
Yeah, so is Jabbar Powell is here quite a bit. Yeah, just love seeing these names. Love you guys contributing. Appreciate it.
Matt, question for you. Jorge is asking, any advice for someone new trading NQ and ES? I mean, that's a very general question. But if you were speaking to your younger self, Matt, and you were giving that person one advice regarding trading NQ and ES, what would you say?
Mm-hmm. Well, so let's take those. Let's split that up into two questions. Any advice for someone new trading NQ? Don't. That's it. As far as the ES goes, I mean, listen, guys. This was something that was a little bit of a transition for me moving to from, again, I was a large cap options trader, and sure, I looked at the spreads, I looked at all the Greeks and all that, but I was really just trading off the main charts, right? Like, even now, I can't buy 1,000 shares of Apple. I don't have that kind of liquidity, right? But I could buy 10 calls, right, and control the same amount. For retail traders, options for me is the way to go, as long as you can, even directional options, as much as people will tell you that's not long-term profitable. Yeah, selling options and collecting, credit spreads, etc., is statistically one of the best ways to make money in the markets. And wheel strategies, covered calls, all that kind of stuff. But I still like to trade it directionally with that. And one of the biggest issues for me moving into futures is that in futures, the candlesticks that I know and love, and a Steve Neeson disciple here, are just not as reliable. Now the patterns do play out, but you look at something like a big candle wick on anything, right? On a daily stock chart, that was about as big buying tail or selling tail is about as reliable patterns you'll see. It's one candle. That's not always the case in futures, right? And so seeing, adjusting more from 1 to 2 candle patterns to 3 to 4 candle patterns, and then adding, first of all, getting rid of some of the standard indicators that I use, the RSI, the MACD, all that stuff, which I think still works very, very well in stocks, not so much on futures. And just, again, mapping out a system, trading, having rules to trade, trading your rules. If you're consistently not profitable and you're sticking to your rules, the rules are the problem. You can throw them out the window, tweak them, adjust them, whatever you need to do. But if you're just, buying because you think it's going to go up without a system or without stop losses, that's where you're going to, really struggle. So moving from large cap options to futures, for me, the biggest thing was to have a system. But as far as the NQ and the ES, honestly, start with the ES. Start with a 5 micro position in ES, and just, again, focus on your process and focus on your ticks. You can sit there and make a good solid 20 to 25 ticks on a lot of trades in the ES, then you can gradually begin to increase your position size. Then you can start talking about the NQ once you've gotten maybe your first payout or something like that. I see somebody asking about GC and CL. We look at those as well. I'll be honest, I don't trade CL a ton. I do trade GC, although I haven't for a few weeks. I'm just not seeing anything that I really like there. The most opportunities in the day, guys, really are in the NQ, in my opinion. But again, you have to learn how to tame it, and starting in the ES is a great place to kind of whet your appetite for futures, learn how to manage your risk. Trading the NQ consistently is going from AA pitching to the major leagues. So if you can't hit a curveball, or you can't at least foul something off and wait for your pitch, you're really going to struggle. You're going to strike out a lot. So that's probably my best advice for the NQ versus the ES.
Oh yeah.
Did you see what DMPFX just posted in the chat? I love it. He said a challenge for everyone in the chat: subscribe and share this channel with 1 or 2 close friends, and we will go a long way. Give someone you care the opportunity to financial freedom. Love that.
Love that.
DMPFX is a real one.
Thank you for that.
So your question, what would you set as a stop loss or daily loss on a 50K account trading MES? Well, let me, again, I know as much as I've, come into the prop world, I've traded a few accounts here or there just to test out new strategies and things like that. I kind of came up, again, trading my own account and having just got, lost a lot of money when I first started trading in small caps. I was very sensitive to taking big losses, right? So for me, I would look at what's your daily loss limit and cut that in half. So if the daily, whatever account you're trading, I know the rules vary between growth, advanced, but if your daily loss limit, let's say, is $1,000, I would set your personal for 500, and I try to not even hit that, right? Again, we talked yesterday on this show, and I'll just, for those that weren't here, which you should be here every day. For me, first 2 trades are losers from the day. I take 30 minutes off. If I come back and take another trade, I'm done for the day, right? So it's not so much a money stop loss for me as an acknowledgement that either I'm not seeing stuff very well, or I'm not in the right mindset to trade, or the market is just not conducive to my type of momentum trading for that day. So I hesitate to specifically say USA, yeah, don't you know? It like should set this or that in an eval, and it's not real money. So, and even though we're not financial advisors, we could talk a little bit about that. But I would say a good place to start is half of the daily loss limit and really try not to hit that, and maybe go from there.
Yeah, good advice. Good advice. People are loving it in the chat.
Trades with Jess, another regular. We appreciate you having you here, Jess, always.
Love you, Jess. Killing it as always. I'm following her on Twitter. If you guys don't follow her, she is killing it. Congrats on your payouts.
Nice, that's sick. By the way, this what we're seeing on the chart right now would have been a perfect clean bull flag setup for me, but I didn't take it because obviously we do have this up here, right?
Rule one, just get the quote of the day there, guys. NQ is the crazy girlfriend. It's a lot of fun, but batshit crazy sometimes.
Sometimes.
That's very accurate.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah. But the reason why I didn't take this trade, guys, by the way, was because I did not have enough room to the highs here, today's highs. So yeah, I'm just sitting out. Are you looking at anything right now, or are you just sitting it out?
I am not going to be looking at anything today. I took my really solid pre-market trade, put me in a really good position. So I don't want to be giving back any more profits on the day. My trend line is the only thing that I have on here that I will be looking at. We are of course creating more trend lines as we go here, and we are still in this zone, this opening range zone. So I call this my penalty box. You can go to my charts real quick, Drew, so I can just show everyone real quick. This is my penalty box on the NASDAQ. This is the area that I don't like to trade in or add any trades or add risk to. So I would, like I said, be looking for a breakout. I'm likely not going to take the breakout just because we do have resistance here, and it's not enough risk to reward for me to put on a trade. However, like I said, I do like a potential downside. We are creating this little trend line here that I can just draw out for you guys so you can see. But if we do come back down here, we have VWAP sitting down here right where the opening range is. But this is one of those where I'm likely not going to take this particular trade, this particular trend line. I like this trend line a lot more. That would put us below this 685 level that we held here on the 5-minute, and then we would get this hopeful continuation down to test the lows of the day, and then we do have a lot of room to the downside here. So as you can see, we basically have all of yesterday's move to take out if we do break this trend line, and it is a strong trend line. So because it's a 1-hour trend line, higher time frame trend line, it means it is going to be a lot stronger. So you do want to get that confirmation when you actually enter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You guys got anything on deck, or do we want to kind of seg into? I got a couple of things to talk about too. So,
go for it.
Yeah, so I said yesterday, and most of you guys that watch the show every day, and I know a lot of you do, we're very appreciative for that. I said yesterday, as I shared a couple of personal things, that like we ask you to be invested in us and invested in our show and Tradeify as a company. So I think the flip side of that is we owe you guys to be very authentic and talk about when we've got stuff going on outside of trading as well. So most of you know, 2 days ago, we had to put one of our pets down, a cat that had been with my fiance fiance it was one of her first rescue cats. She'd been with her for 19 years. So that was really tough to see. She'd been declining with a brain tumor for a little while, and it was getting to the point where it's like, okay, we're not sure how many good days she has left. We don't want to see her suffer, right? And so, and I know it's a pet and all that. But for those that have dealt with pets, you understand how that can be, especially when you go in there just looking for a checkup, and after a couple really rough days, you make a tough decision in consultation with the vet. And then first of all, a big thanks to Nick, Miriam, and some of the team at Tradeify that reached out just to say sorry to both me and at this point, yesterday my attitude was initially, I just need to take care of my fiance. We'll worry about the rest later. And then yesterday, right after the show, take my dog for a walk, and we get to the end of the walk, and he can't walk. And like he pressing up against me, shaking. He can't walk. He can't walk in a straight line. I carry him home, and put him down, and he can't stand. And so I'm freaking out. And eventually we ended up at the pet ER after he threw up, which then got us even more concerned. Thankfully, it's looking like he just had a really nasty ear infection, which, as I said before, he was groomed a couple weeks ago. Apparently, I wipe out his ears from time to time, but apparently they didn't clean out his ears. So that's a fun phone call I get to make in about a half hour. So yeah, I'm sitting there about 9:30 last night, and just really kind of scared, to be honest with you. Mac's been kind of my best friend for quite some time. He's been with me for the ups, the downs, and a lot of things. So that was a struggle. Again, he's doing much better this morning. He's walking a little bit better. He can handle carpeting in grass pretty well. The hardwood's still a bit of a challenge for him. So that's actually, when you saw me go off the screen there, I went upstairs to check on him. He's doing good. He's sleeping and snoring like he usually does. But yeah, and guys, listen, like I said, I'm not going to compare this to somebody, that loses a parent or a loved one or all that. But yeah, I appreciate that you guys that understand that are pets, that the comfort and love that they give us. So like I said, I know I'm a YouTube streamer for a trading company. I'm supposed to just be like all, everything happy, talk shit, do all this kind of stuff. But again, we're trying to do something different here, and we're asking you to be emotionally and invested in what we're doing here. So we owe it to you to pull back the curtain a little bit and share, so if I've been a little hesitant yesterday and today to get into something, I want to make sure my mindset is right. I'd rather, lose $100 or $200 on a personal account if I'm wrong, rather than put something out there for you guys who are relying on us for some solid trade ideas. As we progress, definitely be making more trades. And I want to give you guys a couple ideas per day, even if they're not something I'm interested in getting in right then. So we'll do that. But I think we owe it to you guys to share glimpses. Like we're human beings as well. And we're going to have stuff that we're not necessarily going to feel comfortable or it's appropriate to share on stream if we're dealing with something personal. But at the same time, I just want you guys to know, because, I'm engaged, no kids, so I don't, thankfully have to deal with some of the ups and downs with that. But you guys almost everybody in the stream has a spouse, or you have a kid, or maybe you're younger, you're just kind of getting started with life. It bothers me when trading educators, and I know that term is very loosely tossed around nowadays, don't focus on the mental aspect of this, and they just want to be the trader bros, and that's a gender neutral term in this environment. But guys, have to learn how to manage this stuff. And somebody who has 5, 6, 7 years experience on a stream, sitting there firing off trades like it's real easy and being successful, and there's a lot out there, and kudos to them. We've had some on this show, but you have to learn how to manage that outside stuff. And you have to be able to sit down and be honest with yourself and say, you know what, I'm not sure I'm in the right framework today. I do appreciate it. Like I said, both Nick and Miriam offered to kind of take over a little more on stream today and cover a few things. And I so appreciate that. It's a testament to Tradeify to hire people, high character people like that. So I appreciate that. But guys, I wouldn't dream of that, because I love being here. I love all our regulars. I love being around. I love bantering a little bit with Nick and Miriam, and we're just getting we get into some really good banter behind the scenes. We're going to start bringing that on stream a little bit. I don't want you guys to think we're rivals or anything. I love them both. They're good people. I'm looking forward for many years of working with them. But yeah, we're gonna get I think Miriam and I especially, I think we're gonna banter a little bit here and there. Nick is Swiss, so he's gonna be the neutral arbiter of a lot of things. But I appreciate every single person being here. We are gonna grow slower than a lot of other streams, because we're more substance than style, but we're gonna be at the top. Get on board. It's gonna be a hell of a ride.
Hey, give it up for Matt, guys, and shout out
to Matt in the chat.
For real. Yeah,
and
I
rule
appreciate.
one, who just lost your 4 pound. I'm so sorry. So yes, I completely understand the pain you're going through. Just know we're here with you. So we love you.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, it's it's one of those where we're all human here, right? We're all just here to do our best, and it's always so important to show kindness. I tell you guys at the end of every single stream, practice gratitude, show people kindness, go hug a stranger, and I truly mean that. I know some of it might sound like a humorous joke or whatever, but it's really important to not think about trading as the only thing that's going to give you fulfillment in life. It's one of those that definitely can provide a really good source of income, but it's really important at the end of the day, because it is so consuming. It can be so draining some days, especially when you are going through personal things, whether it's negative or positive, right? It's really important to take a step back and show yourself that grace, show yourself that there are other things in life other than trading, right? What is the purpose of your trading, and knowing the why behind it? Is it simply to pay off a car note every single month, or pay for childcare, or what is it, right? Build a future for your family, and identifying that early will really help bring you back and center you towards the reason that you're doing it, and then remind you, there are people out there that love you and that care about you, and that you should give your attention to. So try to take that time for yourself. I say all the time, one and done is more than enough to keep you in the game, and not sit there and overtrade. So again, we love you guys for being here with us, and I know we're probably going to get into it as it's all fun and games, right? I love these guys, behind the scenes, but it's always fun to get into it, and just share that love. It's always fun, but we always appreciate you guys for joining in and rocking with us.
So I'm sorry to kind of chuckle there. I wasn't chuckling at what Mary was saying. That was very nice. But Brett, just in our private thread where we're talking about what's going on with the show, he just posted a promo pic that we took. I don't know if we can get that on the stream. We might have to cue that up for tomorrow. But we did a lot of promotional. Okay, yeah, okay. Drew's gonna put it up. We did a whole series of promotional shots, and so this is a good one. This is there's gonna be days on the show that look like this, and so as soon as Drew gets that picture and puts it up, we'll laugh at it.
Perfect representation of this team.
Yeah. Oh, and I'll tell you, there's been a couple times I haven't wanted to trade against you guys, so I haven't. But we're gonna drop that, I think, starting next week.
You know what? Bring it on. Let's do it.
Well, it wouldn't work today, Mary. You would have whooped my ass, so I'm glad. But I see Jay Void wants to provide for your mom, who is Bill's regular. Prayers are with you, Jay Void. Absolute best to you. There it is.
Nick in his white tee, per usual. That's all he got, by the way, when he came.
The only thing he owns is a white tee.
I don't have anything else.
Oh man,
oh, well.
I love it.
No, it's a great representation.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, it's all fun and games and good times here, guys. It's like, I appreciate people saying like this is good vibe. And honestly, guys, like we hope to give you a ton of knowledge. We want to entertain as well, right? We want to have some good times and go back and forth, and that's what this is all about. Trading is so fucking lonely just by yourself, right? Because at its core, that's what you're doing. You're sitting down, you're staring at lines on a screen, and it's great. It's a life-changing experience, and it's a life-changing skill if you can acquire it and be good at it. But man, if you guys can't tell, I'm an extrovert. I'm a social dude. It can be pretty boring to just sit there and do your own thing. So grateful to have my two fellow hosts here, and all of you regulars that are here as well.
Yeah, I just saw PMPFX actually said he's going to do something creative with that picture. And Miriam said to tweet it to her. Actually, tweet it to all of us. We're going to drop
tweet to all of us, definitely.
We're going to drop our Twitter handles in here so that you can follow us on Twitter if you would like to. And engage there, but that photo is funny. We do have a lot of other photos that are pretty funny that we should make use of, I think.
Oh yeah. We're only day 9. This is day 9, right?
This is crazy.
Day 10?
This is crazy. This feels like a much longer already.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is gonna be great, guys. We're really looking forward to the future of Tradeify TV and having you guys from day one. I mean, I'm looking at the subscriber count. We're already at 11.1K. subscribers. So, over 11,000 of you guys are subscribed to us. And, this might not be a time for some of you guys to watch, or may not, maybe you have jobs or whatever it might be. But I know that you guys are coming back to this and rewatching it as the preview here. So again, appreciate every single one of you guys that come in and be part of this with us every single day. So we'll continue to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So the question, are we friends in real life or just met here on Tradeify? Nick answered it in the chat. Well, the correct answer to that question is both, right? So, but yeah, it's I think Brett told you guys when he came on, and Miriam on Friday, we're gonna have to convince Brett to come on with us for a little while since Nick's again.
Oh yeah.
Like for something little like a wedding. I mean, my goodness,
I'm the best man at this wedding, dude.
Oh, so what? This show is way more important. No, I'm kidding. I hope you have a great time, and I hope you sufficiently embarrassed him in Spain at his bachelor party. But no, it's honestly we got paired up to do a stream together. They were doing test streams kind of for Vinny, for Brett to see, and they stuck the three of us together. I think we had maybe 10-15 minutes to talk before we went live for about an hour and a half. We each did our own thing for a few minutes. Yeah, do a live from the wedding, Simba says. That's a good idea. It'd be how to lose friends in 2 steps. But no, and so we just popped on, and I remember actually I talked to Brett a couple hours after the stream, and he's like, I think it's you three. I think I wanted to. I think it's you three. So yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean honestly, when you have people who are have some personality, as all of us do, and B, like I said, we're one of the ways we want to be different. We're going to share some stuff with you. We're going to share some vulnerabilities, and oh my God, we might lose a trade from time to time.
Oh
no!
No!
And talk through it, right? Because we're not just going to throw it off the screen and try to YOLO into another trade to get rid of it and then never talk about it again. You guys will learn far more from when we lose than when we win. I promise you that. I know that doesn't sound right if you're new, but trust me, learning how to manage your trades and survive to another day is very important. There we go. Trade. If no live from the wedding, it didn't happen. White tea is the best man. I love that. I love
Dude,
that.
The wife would kill me. I know already.
Well, now we just got to prove it. So make sure you take some pics of your outfit. So
all right.
We know that you're not just white tea Nick.
Yeah,
I'll do. I'll have them thrown up on the screen on Monday. So
love
absolutely,
I will have proof. But I tell you one thing, Miriam, I will wear a white button-up shirt.
Why am I not surprised?
Is it going to hurt to put on that suit coat? Okay.
Well,
it just slowly melts him.
Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. The only reason why I started wearing white shirts. Do you want to know the story?
Oh.
The only reason why I started doing that was actually for content. Because when I have a camera on my face, right? So I'm facing the window. So I'm looking outside.
Please clarify. Content is a loaded term in the internet these days.
Well, I mean, content.
Do you have an only trader page?
Content for trading, like normal people content, Matt. So
okay.
I'm facing the window, so it's pretty bright, right? And when I have a camera on me, and I'm wearing a black shirt, for example, my face will just be blown out because there's so much light coming in, right? But if I wear a white shirt, well, it balances it out, and my face is well lit, and I never have to worry about lighting on content or anything because I can just take my phone, I can take a camera. It's always gonna look good. Whereas with black shirts or brown shirts or whatever, you're always gonna have a blown out face. That was the reason why I started wearing white shirts, and then I just never stopped.
Yeah,
well, that's
just a nice way of saying you're a pasty white MFer.
I love that, guy.
Man.
This has been quite the session here.
Yeah.
Well, we're not doing too much in the market here, so how about you close us out for today, Matt?
Yeah, let's get the closing wheel started here. So again, I said it before. I appreciate you guys that are here every single day. This is why we're going to be the biggest show out there eventually. It's going to take a little time. Like I said, we'd rather grow slow and steady and keep people around than be in a scenario where we'll do the giveaways, and it's great when Brett's in here going back and forth with you guys, and it's great when Vinny's here. We get outside guests, like we have Tanya Trades tomorrow. Super excited to talk to her and get into her trading. But guys, we're looking to everyone that says we're part of your daily routine. I fucking love that. That's outstanding. And thank you for doing that. Keep tuning in. I promise you the show is just going to keep getting better. And I think, like you said, this is show 9. We're doing pretty good already. But just know, guys, we're rooting for you just like you're rooting for us. We're not building a show here. We're building a community. And there's going to be a lot of other opportunities to interact with us going forward. But in the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. And we're going to be back with Tanya Trades tomorrow. So Nick, pretty good stream today.
Yep, yes. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow with Tanya Trades, that's for sure. But again, also from my end, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for showing up daily. Like, again, we already see so many regulars in here, which is amazing to see. And I look forward to see you all over again tomorrow and the day after. Well, not for me, but for the others. And just having you here and building this community with us is absolutely great. And of course, you know it, the person who's going to close this out is our one and only Matcha Mommy.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, and Nick and Matt already said it so well. We appreciate you guys for everything, for rocking with us from day one. We're gonna see you tomorrow, bright and early, and we're gonna do this all over again with Tanya Trades. So I'm gonna wrap it up by saying the same thing I say every single day. This is my matcha mantra. Go be grateful for someone today. Go tell someone you love them. Make sure you are always practicing gratitude. Make sure you take time for yourself today to go treat yourself to some Chipotle or extra guac or whatever it might be that makes you happy. And make sure that you are always giving yourself grace and understanding that, trading is something that, yes, we do like to make money in, but it's always important to remember your why when it comes to trading. So go tell someone you love them today, go hug a stranger, and go be great. We will see you guys tomorrow bright and early.
See you guys.